John Collins, Pat Nevin and Liam McLeod.
We are in the port of Leith for the early kick-off. Hibs against Celtic for the 4th time this season. Could be, may well be, and probably likely to be 6 games between them this campaign, assuming Hibs manage to finish in the top half of the table, because they will do battle again 15 days from now in the quarter-finals of the Scottish Cup at Celtic Park. Hibs having the misfortune of going there in the League Cup as well, the toughest fixture of all. And this one will be just about as challenging against a free-flowing Celtic side, buoyed by their performance, if not outcome, on Tuesday in the Allianz Arena against Bayern Munich. It was 1-1, but it looked like they were going to win in 90 minutes and take it to extra time before Alphonso Davies cancelled out that Nicolas Kuhn goal. Celtic also looking for a 6th win in a row over Hibernian, but this has been a problematic venue for them. Since Hibs came back up to the top flight in 2017, Celtic have actually dropped points at Easter Road in 10 of the 15 meetings between the sides here, and it was a tough enough nut to crack for Brendan Rodgers. His win here last season was his first. As the 2 sets of players make their way, as you can hear in the background, out onto the pitch. In front of us, headed up by the referee, Stephen McLean, who visits Easter Road as referee for the first time since ordering off 2 Hibs players in their Scottish Cup quarter-final against the Rangers last season. One of them starts this afternoon in the shape of Nathan Mariah Welsh. He also sent off Jordan Obita, who's amongst the subs. They are unbeaten in their last 12 and 1 defeat in 15 for the Hibees. That was at Celtic Park, but there's a little asterisk beside that, because Hibs played really well on the day, and on another day might have taken something from the match. And unfortunately for them, Nikola Kukarevic didn't have his eye in that day, as he missed 2 gilt-edged opportunities to score in Glasgow. Celtic have only lost 2 of their last 13. They both came in the Champions League to Aston Villa and to Bayern Munich. That's since losing at Ibrox. And in the league since that game in Govan, played 7, won 6, drawn 1. They've scored 24 goals to the concession of just 5. They are top of the table by a stretch, and they could have it wrapped up before the split. If they win all 7 games, they know that they will have it wrapped up before the split. And that culminates with a home game against Kilmarnock. Celtic have sealed the title a lot of the time in recent years away from home, but they might well, and it depends what Rangers do, have the chance to do it in front of their own fans. Callum McGregor heads off to the Celtic huddle off to our right. They're in their change colours, the canary yellow shirts with the green shorts, yellow socks. Hibs in their green and white. Hibs line up with Smith in goal, O'Hara, Bushiri, Iredale, Miller, Triantis, Mariah Welsh, Nicky Cadden, Campbell, Boyle, Bowie. Celtic, Schmeichel in goal, Johnston, Carter, Vickers, Trusty and Taylor, Engels, McGregor, McCowan, Kuhn, Maida, Ida. Stephen McLean's the ref, as I say, and Alan Muir is the VAR. And Hibs will kick off in the Leith sunshine here, shooting from left to right, as we watch from away up in the heavens at the back of the main stand, right in front of the TV cameras. If you're used to watching matches on the television from Easter Road, Celtic shooting towards the famous 5 end, right to left as we watch, and Martin Boyle has the first touch of the game after the first whistle. It's rolled back to Smith at the edge of his own box, and the Hibs keeper launches it long with the left foot up towards Bowie, who chests it back into the midfield, but only to the benefit of Luke McCowan, where Engels comes across. One back by Lewis Miller on the right hand side, gets an early ball into the Celtic box. It's low, but it's going to come right through to Johnston, who plays it off Nicky Cadden, and that will bounce out of play over on the far side for a throw-in to Celtic. And John, I mentioned this to you, John Collins, Pat Nevin with me. John, I mentioned this to you before. In the 3 games between the sides this season, Hibs have conceded on 3 minutes, on 4 minutes and on 6 minutes. They need to bed themselves into this one to stand a chance.
Well, they've got off to a good start. The first minute's been played in Celtic's half. They've been pushed up, they haven't sat back. But you're up against a top team here. Celtic love to dominate the ball. You don't want to go a goal down early against them, that's one thing.
It is a throw-in to Hibernian over on this near side. Lewis Miller right in front of his manager, and what a recovery it's been from David Gray. If you go back and watch his post-match interview after they lost here to St Mirren in November, he looked not quite a beaten man, and it looked like he was running out of answers, though he did say he always had the belief that they could turn it round, and wow, they have. But here comes Celtic. It's Engels with the low ball into the Hibs box, looking for Maida, too close to Smith, who, again, there's another example of someone who's come in and helped turn the ship around. You could probably look at Jack Iredale and Nicky Cadden coming into that category as well. They are the three who have really stepped up for Hibs during this wonderful run. And Mariah Welsh has knocked it to Giantes. He's got it through to Campbell. He's in here. Goal! Hibs score! And it's a brilliantly taken goal by Josh Campbell, right in front of the Celtic supporters. The through ball found him. It was outstanding midfield play, and Campbell rolls it calmly into the bottom left corner, slotting it away from Kasper Schmeichel, and it is Hibernian 1, Celtic 0, and it's the Hibees who score early this time.
Said at the beginning of the game, we want to see Hibs on the front foot. Can they put the Celtic back four under pressure? They've just played right through the Celtic midfield. Looks the gap's just opened up in the Celtic back four. He's just stepped forward. Josh Campbell, the pass is into his first one touch, second touch, just passed it into the corner of the net. Terrific from him.
Apart from anything else, it's a beautiful goal. It's all on the ground, passed brilliantly. And what you're saying beforehand, are they going to go long, Hibs? Well, they can do that, but they can also pass it out. No one panicked in that move. Came from the right back sort of area, kept the ball, passed it through, and the comfort at which Campbell gets the ball, and as you say, John, passes it into the net. Game on.
Well, it absolutely is now. You could count just about one hand the number of times that Celtic have been behind in league games this season. They generally have the answer, though, and Hibs have certainly given them something to think about. It's a third goal of the season for Campbell. As Pat was saying, it was brilliantly worked, it was good play, well sculpted, and it's a really good finish from Campbell as he calmly knocked it past Schmeichel. And that's a long clearance from Jordan Smith. Kasper Schmeichel's kept 23 clean sheets in his 41 games coming into this one. He's not been beaten often domestically. Here's McCowan, who was of course a huge Hibs target in the summer transfer window. He's found Johnston to his right. It's ball into the box, headed away there by Bashiri, helped on its way by Iredale into the Celtic half for Carter Vickers, hoists it forward. Cushion header by McCowan, out to Kuhn on the far side. Flips it through, looking for Ida, too much on it, and Smith will let it go past him for a goal kick. But David Gray must be delighted down there. I mean, this has been one of the most astonishing turnarounds that we've seen in the Premiership, nay, the entire SPFL, over the last few years, because this current run, which is one defeat in 15, directly followed a sequence of just one win in 11. Spectacular.
What do you put it down to? I think there's fine lines in this league between winning and losing. They were losing games that they probably did not deserve to lose, and all of a sudden it's flipped. A few of the 50-50 decisions have went their way, and all of a sudden they won 2 or 3. And the wonderful word in football is confidence. All of a sudden players start wanting the ball, they start believing in each other, and the results just keep ticking along.
Do you know what's handy? Keeping 11 men in the pitch, which they weren't doing often.
Yeah,
big thing for Hibernian now is they're one up. Are they brave enough to keep on doing this, or are they going to sit back and be a back five, which they've kind of done a wee bit since the goal? We shall see how they react to this.
Red cards, late goals conceded as well from winning positions. They actually tossed away 16 points from winning positions this season in that that first quarter of the campaign. They've got a 1-0 lead over the league leaders and champions here. If you're just joining us at Easter Road, Keenan Bowie, was he fouled by Trusty? Yes, he was, says Stephen McLean. Free kick, Hibs down on this near side, maybe 7 or 8 yards from the main stand side touchline, just about the midway point of Celtic territory.
Bowie's impressive, the way he's holding the ball up. Physicality, yeah, he's a big lad in every way. But you know what? He's not going to be backed up. He's going to be shoved off the ball there by either Carter Vickers or Trusty.
6'7", towers over all the centre backs in Scotland. Yeah, just about. It's going to be a free kick here for Cadden to take, and it's left-footed into the box, drifts to the back post. A header over the bar. It was won by One of the Hibs players, might be Iredale, who managed to get his head on a Horan 6 yards. It's gone over the bar anyway, but it's come off a Celtic player last. So Hibs have the corner.
That was a brave header, wasn't it? Defender, because there's nowhere else to go there. He's under pressure and he headers it over his own crossbar. You have to be confident with a defender to do that.
Hibs looking for a second. Celtic looking a little bit leggy at the moment. Off the back of Mirich. There'll be an out-swinging delivery coming up from Nicky Cadden once referee McLean has had a word with Rocky Bushiri, who got that winner against Ayr United. Recently also scored in that game against Aberdeen, the 3-3 and the 3-3 with Rangers at the start of last month. It's driven in by Cadden and flashed wide by the left boot of O'Hara, and that will be a goal kick. Well, Celtic, but the champions rattled in the early stages here in Leith.
Very much so, and what we're seeing is a Hibs team that's not dropping off. That's the question. Can they keep pressing? Can they keep being brave? Because Celtic have got that pace at the top of the pitch. So often the negative mindset of the defenders is keep dropping.
Carter Vickers out to Johnston. He's going to lift it long. Kuhn trying to get in behind Iredale. Driving down the right-hand side. Kuhn nicks it over the head of Iredale. Breaks back to McCown at the edge of the box, but Campbell read the danger, but there was a flag anyway. So the offside would have been against Nicholas Kuhn about 30 seconds before the flag ultimately went up. 7.5 in. Hibs 1, Celtic 0.
Not got the ball down much. You know, McGregor in every game will have a period where he controls it. That tends to happen in every game I've ever seen him. Now, it doesn't matter who you play against, but it's kind of passing him by just now. But, you know, understandably, Hibs are at 100 miles an hour, making sure they can't calmly get in the ball. It's when that period happens, when Celtic get that little bit of control. Hibs, as we say, if they try and get a second goal now, hope for a bit much, maybe for Hibs fans, that'd be very hard for them to come back for that, maybe.
Bowie chasing, Taylor's there. That's not a great header by Taylor. Bowie's onto it, good touch, shoots, and Schmeichel saves. Throws it out to the near side here of the penalty area. Boyle trying to at least win the corner. He's ended up fighting to keep it in play. Brought to the ground by Taylor, and it goes the Celtic player's way in the end. It was a bit of a 50-50 there, but Kieran Bowie got plenty power behind that. It's an excellent save by Schmeichel, who's prevented Hibs from going 2 up inside the opening 9 minutes.
Bowie is causing them all sorts of problems with his physical presence. Also, he's moving off the ball, and there he's moved terrifically well, and he's caught it sweet. It's an excellent save.
Carter Vickers just playing it square to Trusty. And now Taylor on this near side. Long ball, looking for Ida in behind. Ida's going to get onto this left-hand side of the Hibs box. Not the worst first touch, but O'Hara's there to put it behind for what would have been a corner. But again, there's an offside flag, this time against Adam Ida. These balls that are being clipped over the Hibs defence, not being timed well yet. Of course, saw Kyogo Furuhashi. He was an expert at timing his run and getting onto those kind of balls. They don't have Kyogo anymore, as Engels battles with Triantis, who brings down the young Belgian. And that will be a free kick to Celtic, about level with the edge of the centre circle to the left of it, inside their own half. They trail 1-0 at Easter Road.
Liam, you are right. For Celtic, it's so obvious, isn't it? It's a clip over the top. They just need to get it right once. There is a massive big gap there.
Here comes Seldy down the right of the Hibs box now. It's Kuhn at the angle, plays it back square to Taylor. Left foot dink into the penalty area, is cleared by Cadden. Trusty, did he foul Boyle? No, says the referee. The Hibs fans not happy with that decision. Johnston shuffles away from Cadden on the far side. Infield to Engels, a good challenge there by Triantis again. He's just goes about his business, doesn't he, Nectarios Triantis? Some really impressive performances of late as McGregor goes long, and that's going to come all the way through to Smith as the Celtic skipper apologises to his teammates. Bang on the 10-minute mark in the capital. Hibs 1, Celtic 0.
It's interesting to see where they're trying to get the space. McCowan's the one who's playing almost in a 10 position, but they've not got him in the ball yet. And if you play with someone in that position, he's got to go on the ball. Not really got much yet.
It is going to be a Hibs ball over on the left-hand side. Free kick, which Cadden takes and rolls it back into his own half for Iredale. It's just the 4th time that Celtic have been behind in the Premiership this season. They have come up with answers most of the time when they have found themselves in arrears, but here come Hibs again, and Unfortunately for Campbell, he couldn't quite get the requisite touch to get it through to Boyle, and Carter Vickers sweeps it out to the right for Kuhn. Looks up, it's a long ball looking for Maida, dives to try and get his head onto it. He's gone down as well. Giving a little look at Stephen McLean and asking if it was a foul. The ref doesn't think so, and it just evaded Daizen Maida and goes behind for the goal kick to the hosts. No sign of any penalty check going on there, but it's another one of those long balls in behind the Hibs defence. Maida tried his best to stretch the neck muscles to get onto it.
Well, he nearly had one of them. It was a bouncing one against Bayern Munich, and he got his head on it, didn't he?
Yeah.
But
a bit closer to goal for that one, wasn't he?
Yeah, but there is. I mean, it's one thing is you can get tempted into doing that just a wee bit too often.
Well, here's a long ball for Hibs, and Bowie managed to get in behind Trusty, but his touch takes him back towards his own goal. Out to Miller, early ball. Boyle goes after it, but Carter Vickers just nicked in there at the right time. Though the flag's going up again. This time it's against Hibernian, and that will be a Celtic
William, that was a
free kick.
Tremendous early ball from Miller. He's got to be doing that every time he gets in that final third. Too often he takes 1, 2, 3 touches. There, he did it his first touch. Causes defenders a lot of problems when the ball comes in early.
Carter Vickers just slewing it out to Johnston, gets it back immediately, and then squares it to Trusty. 3 North Americans at the back for Celtic. It's out to Taylor on this near side for Maida up the line, and back to Taylor, and then to Trusty. Celtic seeing a lot of the ball. Hibs looks so dangerous when they're on it though. And they've got plenty of pace and power up there with Bowie and Boyle. As Kuhn comes down the right for Celtic up the other end, they're going to hit the byline, perhaps gets to level with the 6-yard line. His cross is cut out by the sliding Cadden, and behind it goes for Celtic's first corner of the afternoon, which Luke McCowan goes out to the far side to take. The Celtic right as they attack the goal to the left. McCowan plays it low and back up the line to McGregor, then to McCowan. Plenty yellow jerseys there in the middle for Celtic. McGregor down the right for McCowan. Up against Boyle, he's got his cross in toward the back post, and Smith gets his claws onto it and just knocks it behind for the corner on the other side of the goal, with Maida hunting down the equaliser. On 13 it stays Hibs 1, Celtic 0.
It's a tremendous delivery from McCowan out there, the far right hand side, whipped it in with his left foot, just needed a little touch.
Yeah, quick corner, low into the box from Engels, but Kuhn can't force it home. He's only kind of rolled under his foot right through to Smith.
Good goalkeeping, wasn't it? Very. I mean, it's one of those ones that you expect someone to get a nod on it. No one does. It bounces in front of him, but you don't want to pat it out to the forwards attacking. He just patted it across to the side. So, well done, Smith there. Very good goalkeeping.
With all respect to Josip Brsic, who's on the bench for Hibs today, Smith has made a huge difference in goal. Brsic was having problems.
Well, Brsic was letting soft goals in week in, week out. He's not letting any soft goals, and he's made key saves at key moments.
Celtic have it. Carter Vickers square to Trusty. Low ball to the left for Taylor. He's got Maida now running down the left-hand side if he can find them. It is Daizen Maida level with the 6-yard line. Pulls it across, and Bushiri clears. Ida was behind him. Here's Engels, left-hand side of the box. Wins the corner off Triantis. Celtic going through the gears just the last few minutes.
They're starting to get more possession, pinning Hibs back a little bit. It's always going to happen from now and then, but Hibs just got to stay calm, stay compact in these moments. Concentration.
I'll make a promise for you now. Celtic will get an opportunity, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper with the ball over the top. That is going to happen.
Well, we'll wait and see as Arne Engels prepares to take the corner on this near side. Main stand side. Right-footed corner, and it comes, it's flicked away, and it's an important header too on the 6-yard line there by O'Hara. And now it's out to this left-hand side for Engels, looking to get it in with the right foot, which he does. Carter Vickers gets something onto it, heads it back towards the 18-yard line, gets back onto it, finds McCowan, then Engels gets it from Carter Vickers, and now it's Johnston. Johnston looking up at the Hibs penalty area, rolls it out wide right for Kuhn. Gets it back to the underlapping Johnston, pulls it across, cleared by Iredale, only as far as Johnston, chip ball, looking for Maida, flicked away by Bowie, and then Taylor on the half volley at the edge of the box, high over the bar, into the famous 5 stand, 15.5 on the clock, Hibs 1, Celtic 0.
Celtic trying to got the possession out. The question now for Hibs is, can they get hold of the ball, can they keep it a little bit, try and get some passes.
You did see this coming. This was going to come at some point in the game. What was intriguing there, when the balls are wide there, and Celtic put some really good, dangerous crosses in, there is an absolute mob of Hibs players right in front of the goalkeeper. There's 5 or 6 of them all really attacking every single ball. Not a lot of space there to attack for the Celtic attackers.
Hibs give it away cheaply. It's Ida on the right-hand side. Johnston to his right. Ida trying to step away from Triantis, who holds him off and pinches it back. Excellent play by Triantis. Hibs clear through Campbell. Bowie on the slide, as to was Carter Vickers. Goes in, that was surely a foul. Yes, it was. And Carter Vickers claiming he got the ball. I'm not sure he got any of it, really. He says he's got something on it. Stephen McLean sees it as a Hibs free kick just to the left of the centre circle. They lead 1-0 thanks to Josh Campbell's goal early on in the piece. 16 and a half on the clock just now. And the, as it stands, table has Hibs up to 4th, above Dundee United and to within a point of Aberdeen. That's how important upsetting the odds could be for David Gray this afternoon.
You do think coming through, Carter Vickers coming through the back there, there are 1 or 2 referees that might have been tempted to go to their pocket for that one. I don't think Carter Vickers can do that again.
Will be a free kick. It was only a free kick. And Iredale will take it left-footed, clips it out to the right-hand side. The switch out towards Miller, who does win the header into the Celtic box, and Ida heads it behind for the corner. It's not what he intended. How costly is that going to prove to be?
Ida's got to do better. That's a poor defensive header, needlessly giving away a corner.
He does look a wee bit lacklustre sometimes,
yeah.
You know, that's his style. That's it. You put him in front of the goal and he doesn't. He looks phenomenal, but defensively, not always as lively as he has to be, giving away a needless corner kick there.
And we know
Nicky Cadden,
yeah,
brilliant delivery.
Just about to say, we know the quality of Nicky Cadden. Here he goes, left-footed in-swinger in towards the back post area where Carter Vickers gets it away. It's well defended there by the Celtic man. Here's Nicky Cadden up against Maida on this near side. Cadden shuffles back onto the left, gets the cross in, it's flicked away by Trusty. Clearance completed by Engels, and McCowan stabs it forward to Kuhn, and Celtic could potentially head away in the counter here, but Boyle bites back and puts it out for a Celtic throw-in over on the far side. Hibs are so up for this.
You mentioned the confidence earlier on, John. They look seriously confident on the ball, a real comfort about them. Hey, they're going to be asked questions as the game goes on, but so far it's almost a 5-3-2 they're playing now, isn't it? That's hard to get through.
Here comes Kuhn down the right of the Hibs box. Johnston in the overlap, still it's Kuhn. Little ball back's cut out. Hibs back in numbers, as Pat's just been saying. Roll back down the line to McGregor. Square infield to Taylor. Bit of space to work in. Rolls it low along the grass out to Johnston on the right, but his pass is overhit for McCowan. And behind it goes for the goal kick. And that's the kind of MO that Celtic have utilised a lot this season, and indeed the last couple of seasons since Alistair Johnston's been at the club. He's been an excellent weapon for them down there. That little kind of pass at the moment in the attacking third's not coming off for Celtic right now. 19 in, Hibs 1, Celtic 0.
I really want to see Hibs trying to feed Nicky Cadden. He is the one player, when you give him the ball in the final third, he can make terrific delivery. Asking Bowie to peel off to the back post when Greg Taylor. A mismatch there at the back post if they can get deliveries there.
Celtic with McGregor spinning away from Bowie, now Taylor infield to McGregor. Under pressure from Boyle, he rolls it back to Trusty, who squares it to Carter Vickers. It's the ball out to the right-hand side for Johnston. He's now got Kuhn. I think he's onside this time. He's managed to slide and get the ball into the box, away by Bushiri, not decisively though. Kuhn has it, looks at the goal, has a little pop at it, it's blocked. Wasn't a particularly great effort, but the flag has ultimately gone up on the far side. I thought he looked on, but obviously wasn't.
Rocky Bushiri was very lucky there. The ball came to him in the box and he kicked it straight back to Kuhn, 15 yards away from him. He's got to be doing better than that.
It's just so tight with those offsides, aren't there? I mean, the referee can't do anything about it, neither can the assistant referee over there on the far side. He has to wait till the movement stops, till he puts up his flag. It's probably happened 5 or 6 times so far. One of these times he's not going to put that flag up, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, you can see why that rule's frustrating for players and for supporters alike, but they'd be even more annoyed if they didn't let the move come to its natural conclusion and it ends up in the net, and after a VAR check it ends up being onside. What would you rather? That's the issue.
I'm with you on that one, Liam. Absolutely.
Carter Vickers heading it back to Schmeichel, then the underarm ball out to the right-hand side for Johnston. Low ball square back to Carter Vickers, who turns it to his left for Trusty. And out to Taylor. Celtic seeking a route back onto level terms. They trail 1-0 thanks to that early Josh Campbell goal inside the first couple of minutes. It's Kuhn, it's a dink over the top again. Ida's onto it, but it's a poor touch. It comes through to Smith, and there was no flag this time.
That was offside. That was the most obvious one of them all so
Maybe
far.
just letting the advantage go because it was back in Smith's grasp, but that's a slack one out of defence by Iredale, straight to Callum McGregor, who scored here earlier in the season, rolls it back to Maida, and his effort charged down brilliantly by O'Hara. It's going to go out for a throw-in down by the corner flag over on the other side, in front of the east stand.
Really good tackle or block from the defender there. I think that was heading bottom corner.
Oh, it definitely wasn't. Of course, we've given McGregor space. Watch that against Dundee United. He was very, very special from the edge of that box. He will pick out the right pass or else pick out a decent shot.
The metronome of the Celtic team, the skipper, and he's on it, gets it from Johnston, low ball, Ida flicks it behind him, now it's with Taylor, left hand side of the box. Maida goes away in the overlap if he can find him. Wasn't a great ball, allowed Miller in to clear for Hibs, out for a Celtic throw-in on this near side, which Taylor takes quickly back to Trusty. The champions behind, desperately trying to find an equaliser. Knocked into the centre circle for Carter Vickers, out to the right for Johnston, and onto the touchline for Kuhn, facing Cadden. Level with the penalty spot, Jinks onto his left side. McCowan kind of got in his way, but still it's Kuhn, chips it into the box looking for Maida, who's in an offside position, and Miller just escorts it behind for the goal kick. Hibs 1, Celtic 0. We played a quarter of this one in the Premiership on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
Watching the way Ida's making these runs, they've not been brilliant. He keeps on making the runs to get in behind, but you know, you need to arc those runs a little bit more than he's doing it. And then you watch the way Maida does it, you know, he might put him further forward later on.
Yeah, Maida's timing's been off so far. Taylor does well to win it back off Miller, and then goes in on Bowie, and the Hibs players and supporters think this is worthy of some kind of card, and the referee's going to his pocket. It's a yellow for Greg Taylor.
I'll tell you right now, Bowie has done him a real favour. It's not you see. I'm going to give him huge credit. So many football players would have taken that tackle, rolled about and tried to get the opponent sent off. I like seeing a player that gets up, shows respect for his opponent.
I don't think a lot of managers would agree with you, but I'm with you on that one 100%. Had he, I mean, the check's been cleared, so there's not going to be a red card. But with the straight leg, the studs up, so Bowie wasn't injured, so he gets up. I'm 100% behind you there, John. Well done, that young man.
Free kick, Hibs. A few yards from the near side touchline. Nicky Cadden over it, midway inside the Celtic half. Left-footed towards the back post area. Bowie the target. Won the first header, won the second. He nods it towards goal, but it comes all the way through there to Kasper Schmeichel, who holds on to it. Beaten by Josh Campbell in the early stages of the game. The only goal of the match so far. This fixture generally averages 3 goals a game. It's generally 3 or 4 you see between the two sides, and that's going back to the turn of the century. Not too many are low-scoring affairs between these two.
I think there's a lot got to do with the two football clubs that demand, fans demand open football when they possibly can.
To come later, open all mics: Aberdeen, Kilmarnock, Rangers, St Mirren, Dundee United, Motherwell, Ross County, Dundee. There's also that Ayr Livingston game in the Championship. Huge games across the country to come later. And of course the rugby, which will be on 810 medium wave and on extra right here. England, Scotland. Scotland looking to win the Calcutta Cup for a 5th successive year, and potentially a 49th as well. England, Scotland and the Six Nations. Kick off 4:45. The rugby frequency split will happen at 3. Open all mics will continue in FM. Here come Hibs with a lead, and Nicky Cadden tried to ease it through to Boyle when it's cut out. Celtic were a bit stretched at the back there as they gave it away in the Hibs half of the pitch. And as Kuhn, who's over on this left side at the moment with Maida through the middle and Ida over on the right. Not sure if they're just out of shape, out of position. But anyway, it's Carter Vickers who flashes it to the left of the centre circle for Taylor, out to Kuhn, misjudged by Miller, and Kuhn's away, driving at the penalty area. Engels in the overlap, and the pass overhit again, this time by Kuhn, who rubs the back of his head and wonders what happened there, because Engels was in an excellent position left-hand side of the box.
Kuhn shaking his head. He knows with his quality, it's a simple little pass to the byline. He's got to get the weight of the pass better there.
It's not the first time that's happened for Celtic this afternoon, is it?
I think both of us have got our chins on the desk here. You should never play that long. You are in a brilliant position there. There's lots and lots of space just to roll them in there. That's a poor pass, poor final pass.
Celtic have only lost twice domestically in the last 14 months. They lost to Hearts at the other side of this city last March, and the only other defeat was at Ibrox at the start of January. Unbeaten domestically outside of those two games in more than a year, and they're trailing here at Easter Road.
I don't think they're panicking though, you know, not even a half an hour gone, and they're getting a lot of the ball in a lot of those areas. They absolutely believe the chances will come.
Yeah, and here they come again down the right. Johnston brilliantly defended by Iredale. That's a strong challenge which puts it out for a Celtic throw-in on the far side. The thing that will give David great comfort, apart from the fact his team is in the lead, is that they defended pretty well.
Yeah, they've got the important blocks, all the central defenders. Celtic players look like they're going to get a cross in or a shot in, and they've got the blocks, perfect timing. But this pitch is really, it's made for this system and the style of players Celtic have. Wingers, nice big wide pitch, and they're stretching the game. Hibs will get tired if they don't get a hold of the ball.
Here's Kuhn, wide on the right, skipping infield now into a more central position. His ball forward, cut out again. It's Triantis this time. Bounces out to this near side. Greg Taylor over it. Stepping away from Mariah Welsh, and he brings the Celtic left back down. That will be a free kick to the visitors just inside their own half.
Actually delighted with earlier on there, that tackle you talked about with Johnson over the far side. I think it was with Iredale.
Yep.
Both of them went into really strong tackle. Both of them just got them going with good attitude.
Tester for the offside flag. It's Kuhn down the right. It's too high for Ida. Headed away by O'Hara. McGregor takes a touch at the edge of the box. He just evaded him though, and O'Hara can clear again. Boyle away from Carter Vickers. There's the flag.
How many offsides have there been? Time and time
5 or
again.
6 now, yeah.
The law of averages. The attacking player will time it right. But so far so good for Hibs. Their timing's been good. They've been stepping up together as a unit.
It's just that wee bit harder, you know. And early in the game, you know, the line's okay, but you do not give the midfielder a chance to get his head up and play the pass. And that's easier to do the earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Later in the game, it's harder to close that guy down. And if you give McGregor opportunities to get his head up and play the ball in behind her, eventually they will. He will, as the game develops. And may I also add, the lad Jota's not bad at that either when he comes on.
He's among the subs today for Celtic. Hibs, though, they're on their longest run without losing since going 12 without loss between the end of January 18 and the penultimate day of that season, when they would eventually succumb to Hearts at Tynecastle. It was under Neil Lennon, who's behind us working for telly today. If they can avoid defeat today, Hibs, they'll go 13 unbeaten for the first time as a top-flight side across all competitions since 1978. It's quite remarkable.
Wow.
As Callum McGregor picks up on the far side, rolls it out to the touchline for McCowan. They've done 12 a couple of times since then, but 13, no. As Kuhn picks up, squares it to Trusty. Did it as a championship team as well across those years, but at the top table, they've been dining there. It hasn't since then. But here's a drifted ball into Johnston at the near post. Smith makes an outstanding save. They got Johnston free just at the right angle of the 6-yard box, and Smith made himself big and makes an outstanding save. Corner Celtic, 1-0 Hibs.
Do you know that one I was promising you? There you go. That's it.
It's bound to happen. Short corner by McCowan, back to McGregor. To McCowan, level with the penalty spot, taking on Mariah Welsh. Little ball across is cut out there by Boyle, and that will be another Celtic corner as they continue to crank up the pressure on the half hour here. Luke McCowan out there to take. Hibs were desperate to bring him to the club in the summer. Celtic gazumped them. And it's McCowan's corner, this time it's straight into the box, headed away by Miller. McCowan goes after it, caresses the ball back to Kuhn, looks up, and then it's a chip ball. Not sure that's what he intended. It's too high for Maida, and Triantis leathers it out for a throw into Celtic, a bit level with the Hibs 18-yard line on this near side. Taken quickly by Engels, back to Taylor. Infield to Callum McGregor, one of his goals this season came here early in the campaign. As is traditional, was outside the box. I think his one last week against Dundee United was just inside. It's Engels down the left hand there for Taylor, his ball in, and then Mariah Welsh wanted too long on it. Maida just about nicked it off him, but Bushiri batters the ball clear up to the halfway line, and Carter Vickers gets on to it, goes back to Schmeichel. Hibs a little bit deep there, 31 played, Hibs 1, Celtic 0.
Well, they find it difficult to retain possession. They're dropping off, staying nice and compact, but the danger is when you win it, you look up, there's one of your players against 4 of theirs, and you inevitably give the ball away too often.
Mariah Welsh back to Taylor, left-footed ball to Trusty, picks up on the right of the centre circle and rolls it to Johnston. And Johnston out to Kuhn. Johnston continues his run, gets it back from Kuhn, held up by Iredale. Back to Kuhn. Kuhn then squares it to McGregor. McGregor's looking up at the Hibs goal there, and he's been chopped to the ground by Bowie, and that's going to be a free kick to Celtic. It's quite central. It's 25 yards from goal. It was Bowie through the back of Callum McGregor.
You understand there's going to be a little bit of panic now and again in defending if you're spending all that time defending, but I'll maybe go 30 more than 25 yards out there. It's a long way out, but you know, there's a couple of them eyeing it up, a couple of them fancy it.
Yeah.
Engels definitely.
Celtic just touching 75% possession. They are 1-0 down. What can they make of this free kick? It's maybe a bit further out than 25 yards. Engels and McCowan are there. Certainly favour the right footer, which would be Engels. What does he do here? McCowan steps over it. It will be Engels. It's low, but it's a comfortable take for Smith on the left-hand side of his goal. No dramas for Jordan Smith. Hibs 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, poor effort from Engels. He'll be disappointed. He's usually got a better strike than that in him. Easy for the goalkeeper.
Now with Bushiri. Knocks it forward, looking for Mariah Welsh. It's ended up going right through to Boyle, who might have been fouled by Taylor. Didn't go down. The ref's happy for play to continue, and Miller wrestles it off Maida on the near side, and Miller forward here for Bowie, probably offside here, but they're going to have to play to the whistle or the flag. Bowie's inside the Celtic box, rolls it back to the edge, and Schmeichel saves from Josh Campbell, but the offside flag does go up. But you've got to keep playing. You've got to play till that flag goes up, and in fairness to Celtic, they did, albeit Hibs got the shot away, and Schmeichel made an important save had the flag not gone up. And of course it did, so it doesn't go down in the annals.
Yeah, it does help if you're a Hibernian player to get a little break now and again, because it's so exhausting to chase it when you've not got the ball, you're defending all the time, you're concentrating to that level all the time. A little break now and again really helps, and here's another one.
There's Boyle picking up in the midfield after Hibs won it back off Engels on the near side. Skipper Boyle back to O'Hara, forward to Mariah Welsh. Bowie gets the break of the ball. Ball forward, looking for Campbell's cut out, but it will come back to Martin Boyle here. Now Mariah Welsh, couple of Hibs players are down. Hibs playing on, in fact 3 Hibs players are down. Wow. And eventually they get a free kick for one of them. Boyle, Mariah Welsh and Bowie all hit the deck there in the space of about 5 seconds. Hibs 1, Celtic 0, just over 10 to the break.
Bowie's the interesting one, isn't he, there? Because holding his back when he went down, it's hard to see where that happened there.
It's been a frustrating start to life in Hibs for Kieran Bowie, and that injury, which came right at the start of the season, pretty much. He's had to make do with cameos since then. This is his first start, and he's put himself about up there.
Yeah, he's put in a lot of work. It's caused Celtic problems. Probably only the last 60 minutes, I would imagine, at the most. But he brings them something different.
Hibs free kick as they look to double their lead. Boyle and Nicky Cadden are over it. Kuhn is the closest Celtic player. Boyle takes it into that dangerous corridor, and Schmeichel tips over from Campbell. Campbell's header.
Offside.
But there's the offside flag for about the 106th time this afternoon. Stays 1-0 Hibs. It's another, again, Schmeichel doesn't know that. That is a brilliant save that won't be put down in the records.
Brilliant save, but brilliant delivery from Martin Boyle.
Yeah.
It's a defender's nightmare, and a goalkeeper's just bent in between the goalkeeper and the back four, just begging to be hit.
There's a long one for Bowie to chase. Carter Vickers had to be careful, gets the touch onto it, and he's put it behind for a Hibs corner. This has been a good minute or two for Hibs. They've been in the Celtic defensive third as they try and hunt down a second goal.
One of the things about Schmeichel, look, he's a world-class goalkeeper, and a shot stopper, absolutely brilliant. Do you know the ones where some keepers come and control their area, 6, 8, 12 yards out? He's not one of them. So you've got to keep on putting the ball in there and asking the questions.
And the ball's coming back in there right now. Out-swinging corner from Nicky Cadden over in the southeast corner, off to the right there as they look for another before the break. In it comes off O'Hara, and then Carter Vickers and behind for another Hibs corner.
That's such good deliveries from Cadden. He just drills it in that, just outside the 6 yards, on a good height, good pace, asking for the centre halves forward to go and attack it.
Everyone's doing the Arsenal corner these days, aren't they? Everyone goes to the back post and then attacks it really late on.
Cadden will take. Getting over on that left-hand side. Drifts it into the 6 yard area again. Miller got something onto it, but he's flicked it outside the box on the near side, but Johnston's been wiped out, so Celtic will have a free kick inside their own penalty area, as Hibs did a bit of attack in there just for the last few minutes to relieve some of the pressure that had been coming down on them up the other end. And Alistair Johnston staying a little while to get back to his feet here. And a thumbs up from Austin Trusty that he doesn't need the medics on. No, they are going to have to be called onto the pitch here. And Alistair Johnston. Remember the highlights of this one, and indeed the 4 other Premiership matches taking place this afternoon will be on Sports Scene this evening. The Premiership weekend will be completed tomorrow in Perth in the Fair City, midday kick-off, St Johnstone against Hearts. And then there's a full card across Tuesday and Wednesday. Firstly, Celtic Aberdeen on Tuesday evening. Also got the Scottish women's national team Nations League match against the Netherlands, which is live on the BBC Scotland TV channel. The Celtic Aberdeen game will be here on the radio. Highlights in the evening. Then on Wednesday, Kilmarnock Rangers, Hibs go to Dundee United, Hearts St Mirren, Motherwell Dundee, St Johnstone, Ross County. The game at Kilmarnock kicks off at 8, the others are 7:45, and then on Friday, next weekend's action begins again in the Championship with Partick Thistle hosting Livingston. And still the treatment continues for Alistair Johnston inside his own box, and one that might interest you, Pat. Yeah. Everton 2-0 up on Manchester United.
Oh, there's 2 Evertonians here that are sitting grinning like
John as well, of course, yeah, right enough.
Delighted with that.
Right enough.
No, oddly enough, but just watching the way it's happened here, Celtic had really turned the screw there for about 20 minutes. Hibs couldn't get the ball. You're talking about the possession stats were incredible. What Hibs needed was a couple of things to happen. Just a couple of breaks, maybe a corner kick, a couple of injuries to slow it down. All of those things have happened for Hibernian just when they needed them most, giving their players a little bit of rest, giving the coaches a time to talk to them a little bit, get a little bit of technical information across to them. So this is exactly what Hibernian needed right at this point in time.
100%, get the drinks in, manager gets to talk to his players, they get their rest. Exact opposite for Brendan, broke the momentum for Celtic. They're getting cold now, standing about. That's a few minutes now. Hopefully Alistair Johnston's going to be okay. He's sitting up.
He didn't seem to be sparked out completely, so the suspicion is he will be okay.
Get the drinks in, there's a phrase the one David Gray will be, I would imagine, utilising later if they can pick up a rare victory against Celtic this afternoon, and they put themselves in a brilliant position to do so as we head towards the final 5 minutes of the first half at Easter Road. Eventually the Celtic free kick will be taken. There'll be a good few minutes added on because of the treatment for Johnston there. Kasper Schmeichel's been the busier goalkeeper. It's one thing you would say.
For all Celtic's possession and domination in the final third, the final ball, they haven't worked the goalkeeper at all. I don't think he's had a save to make, has he?
No, well, there was one from the Engels free kick, was it?
It was the cross that bounced in front of the goalkeeper and he patted it to the side, really.
That's
and this
right,
was the one-on-one as well.
But yeah, The one from Alistair Johnston was the big save, wasn't it? Michael's made a few up the other end. Here's Callum McGregor scampering out to the far side and finding Kuhn. It's it back to his captain. McGregor just shuffling away from Bowie. Now Carter Vickers to the left of the circle for Trusty. To Taylor. And then to Trusty for Carter Vickers. And then right in the centre circle, out to the far side for Johnston, and then Kuhn. Kuhn on the touchline, taking on Cadden. The right angle of the box. Kuhn, low ball to Callum McGregor, chips it in, looking for Maida again. The final ball's just slightly off for Celtic, as it has been so often in this first half. Just evades Maida, and it was behind for the goal kick to Hibs, who continue to lead 1-0.
Very unlike Callum McGregor. Normally he hits his target from there, just over-hitting it slightly.
Yeah, but it's the right ball, isn't it? It's the right idea.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
exactly the right ball. And the more you look at it here, and if you were wearing a Hibernian scarf, you're sitting thinking, do not bring Jota on, because he's exactly the type of player who will see those spaces and be able to find them.
Well, you wouldn't be at all surprised, given how ineffectual he has been, if there is a switch even at half-time, with Maida going through the middle and Jota coming on.
Makes perfect sense.
Yep. You could be a coach, by the way. You could get a job.
Don't know about that, John. I'm just hanging on here, to be honest. It will be a throw-in for O'Hara, level with the edge of the centre circle in the Celtic half, and he bowls it back to Bushiri. And then he side foots it back to Smith at the edge of his box, and he clears with the left foot, and then it's flicked on by the goal scorer Campbell, and he was fouled as well. There's a free kick to Hibs inside the centre circle. The Hibs fans want more punishment meted out there, albeit there's a flag gone up again.
Yeah, it's a flag gone up again. But even so, he's come through the back of him there. I thought that was about... I mean, if you're a centre forward, you can't protect yourself in that situation. And that was a sore one.
Hibs 1, Celtic 0, as it's been since the second minute. Josh Campbell, the side foot finish into the bottom left corner for his third of the season. He's become such an important player, John, for this football club, hasn't he, Josh Campbell? It's one of those, he's a success story. I know that Hibs have been criticised in recent years, not like when you were the manager here and Tony Mowbray, when there's so many academy products came straight from the academy into the first team. Josh Campbell's done really well, hasn't he? Yeah. 4 being added, by the way.
He likes getting forward, likes getting in the box, likes getting shots off.
Well, we're on 43 minutes, 4 being added. Was Boyle fouled? No, says Stephen McLean. It's to the annoyance of the Hibs supporters. You can hear howling their derision in the background. Here's McCowan rolling it to the left-hand side of the box for Ida. This could be controversial if there's an equaliser comes from this, but Ida's pass is cut out and Hibs will be able to get it clear, with Lewis Miller taking it out to this near-sided. Celtic scored there. That could have been one for the VAR to have a look at.
There's just a phasey play there.
Oh, and then Smith plays it straight off Kuhn, but he's fortunate as it bobbles up into the air. And he can clutch it with both gloves. It stays Hibs 1, Celtic 0.
Got to go back to Adam Ida there. The ball was played through from, I think it was Luke Cowan into him. Good players, the first thing they do, they're aware what's round about them, their heads up. He's got 2 players and round about the penalty spot he can square it to, and they've got a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. 1, he doesn't look up. 2, he doesn't execute it. For me, that's not a top player.
I think Pat mentioned it earlier. He's just looking a little bit, not disinterested, but his body language isn't great as Kuhn wins the corner off Cadden on the far side.
But you mentioned, John's talking about that there, and both of us are looking at it the same way, saying Kuhn is in gigantic space at the back post. You should have been aware of that. You should have looked up before the ball came to you and should have seen it. But that's centre forwards, John. Yeah. They don't always do that. They've got one thing in their mind, and that's a goal. But you're right. If he'd have seen Kuhn on there on the far side, tapping.
But that's the aspect of his game he's got to work it. When to play players in, when to hold on to it, when to shoot, when to release it. For me, he doesn't get it right often enough to be classed, as I would say, as a top class player at this moment in time.
You would think he would be at £9 million as Kuhn picks up, and the corner was taken short by him, but it's clipped ball in's headed clear. Taylor has it. Hibs desperately trying to get to half time, still in front. Johnston out to the far side, McGregor, and then the challenge from Boyle comes bouncing off McGregor and out for a Hibs throw-in over on the far side. I mean, this performance from Hibs today is the very embodiment of where they are right now.
Yeah, they've fought really, really hard. They've had to defend brilliantly.
The reaction from the fans. I mean,
Yeah.
how long has it been since you, John, have come to Easter Road and you've seen the Hibs fans get behind their team like this?
It makes such a difference, but it comes from the positive start. The manager's planted the seed. Let's go after Celtic. I said it at the beginning of the game, before kick-off, go and try and get that first goal. Look what he's done in the stadium. The fans are right behind him, even though there's been long periods when they haven't had the ball. The fans are behind them.
I think it's fair to say that both Aberdeen and Dundee United have had spells this season when they've looked the best of the rest. Right now, Hibs look like the best team. And an opportunity to finish third. Aberdeen got back to winning ways last week. Finally, they host Kilmarnock today. Dundee United at home to Motherwell in that battle for third, and you can't rule a few of the others out for that fight either. Well, it's such a tight league from third down to 11th. As Kuhn picks up and knocks it into the centre circle for Taylor. And back to Carter Vickers. And now to Trusty. Left of the centre circle. We are a minute and a half into the stoppage time. 4 were added. Here's Engels. Left hand side of the box. Taylor pulls it back. Ida misses it. Breaks to McGregor at the edge of the box. Now Johnston. He shoots wide of the left hand post. Well, how often have Celtic knocked the stuffing out of you by scoring late in a half? And they were threatening to there, but Johnston's off target, past the left-hand post, and it stays Hibs 1, Celtic 0, with 2 minutes of the stoppages to play.
It was terrific play from Greg Taylor. Made a really good run down the left-hand side, good delivery into the box. Fell nicely, but still, again, not hitting the target. That's been their downfall. They haven't worked the goalkeeper enough.
Absolutely. One of the interesting things to underline here for all fans listening, Celtic aren't playing badly. No, the Celtic are playing well in many areas of the pitch. They're controlling large parts of the game. They're getting into good areas in the final third. But it is a lot of the time, that final pass, the hardest pass there is in the game, it's not been right yet.
Just a couple of occasions they have failed to score in a Premiership game this season. At Tannadice, at Ibrox, as Lewis Miller smashes it forward, high ball down the right. Bowie's going to get onto it. Down by the corner flag, 2 Celtic players around him, and he wins the throw-in off Taylor right up the pitch. Just alleviates all the stress at the other end as well that might come their way at the end of this half.
Bowie and Boyle have done a terrific shift for Hibs at the top of the pitch. Working, chasing what I would class as poor balls, but they're making them into decent balls because of their desire to go and chase.
Long throw-in coming up from Lewis Miller as Hibs look to score late in the half as they did early in the half. The final minute of what was added. Miller pulls it into the box, comes off Engels' head, goes back towards his own goal. It's bouncing and bobbling, and Trusty can't quite get it away, but McGregor does. Iredale will keep this attack alive for Hibs. Cadden, and the option of Boyle, he's eventually found them at the left angle of the box, looks to pick a spot in the area with a cross. Campbell gets his head to it, and it's 2-0. Josh Campbell scores again, and it's absolutely sensational at Easter Road, or at least it would have been had we not seen the offside flag go up down below us. Campbell thought he'd scored again, having scored inside 2 minutes. It looked like he'd scored in the final minute of stoppages, so you can forget all about the last 20 seconds. It remains Hibs 1, Celtic 0, though they are just double checking it.
That must be tight, Liam. That must be very, very tight indeed.
So unlucky. It was terrific play out on the left-hand side. Nicky Cadden again. Jinks inside, plays the ball to Boyle. Boyle, great delivery.
It's a very tight one, that. I have to say, I didn't see it as offside.
And I thought,
to me, it looked as if it was...
Well, the initial reaction from what I'm hearing from the studio is that he looks on.
It did to me. He absolutely did. Now, we've not got a great angle here, and the assistant referee's got a better angle. But sometimes you'd see when a player makes his movement. Certainly the scorer didn't look to me as if he was, but hey, it's tight. And this game could balance on this moment.
Oh, this is a massive moment.
Huge.
Particularly you feel for Hibernian. Celtic are on their way to the title, we know that. But what a statement this would be from Hibs. We're hearing it might be the right foot of Trusty that is keeping him onside, and the goal's given! Josh Campbell's header counts, and Hibs lead the champions by 2 in first half stoppage time. A second for Campbell, a second for Hibs. Hibernian 2, Celtic 0 on the stroke of half time. What a statement this this is
another fabulous goal. Let's be fair about it. You know, they've got it on the left-hand side there, but they haven't panicked. They've played a few passes out there, but the ball towards the back post, and the willingness of Campbell, who's playing behind the strikers, to get in there, to get into that danger, hurt yourself to get in there. And by the way, that's a header and a half.
It's a tremendous goal from Hibs' point of view, from the build-up play on the left to your midfield player attacking the ball with it. But from Celtic's point of view, very, very poor defending. Central defenders beaten there, and I think, I've not seen it in slow motion, I think Schmeichel should have been coming for that.
He kind of waved it bye-bye, didn't he?
Well, I mentioned before, he's not a keeper who comes up and does the 8 to 12 yard ones. He's not a liner, but he wants his own 6-yard box. And outside that, he wants his defenders to deal with it. He didn't come out, the defenders missed it, and Hibs, and it still took a good header.
Well, it's the final few seconds here that are being played out. 6.5 of injury time, or stoppage time has been played. 4 were initially added. Celtic 2 down as Carter Vickers plays it out to the right for Johnston. Just listen to the roar here when Stephen McLean blows the half-time whistle. And that is the roar of the Hibernian supporters. This renewed Hibs team that is the polar opposite of the one we saw limp through the opening quarter of the season, to the point where they're now 2-0 up on the runaway league leaders and champions. A Josh Campbell double either side of the half. The first a measured finish on 2 minutes, and then in the 4th minute of stoppage time he headed past Schmeichel, both goals into the left-hand corner of the net. And we've got a sensational scoreline here in Leith. Celtic have had loads of the ball. They haven't exactly cut Hibs open terribly often, and when they have done, they've been in an offside position. Jordan Smith's been 1 or 2 saves. Schmeichel's been the busier keeper though. And this Hibs juggernaut showing no signs right now of being brought to a halt, and they're embroiled in the toughest fixture of the lot here. They're unbeaten in 12, but they are in ship-shape fashion to make that 13 here, as they look to go to within a point of Aberdeen in 3rd. Half-time in Leith is Hibernian 2, Celtic 0.
The Scottish Premiership.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
An absolutely incredible first half through there at Easter Road. A double from Josh Campbell at the start of the half, and right before half-time there, Hibs 2, Celtic 0. Fantastic performance from David Gray's side. We spoke a lot about him and the job that he has done before kick-off today. We pointed back to that late draw against Aberdeen at Easter Road. He himself said that was potentially the catalyst for the turnaround in fortunes, and my goodness, what a run they have been on, and well worthy of their lead through at Easter Road against the champion Celtic this afternoon. Just a reminder, when this game is done and dusted, we have open all mics for you. We have Rangers at home to St Mirren. There's also the option of online commentary from that one. We also have Dundee United against Motherwell. The new manager, of course, takes charge of Motherwell for the first time today. Aberdeen at home to Kilmarnock. Aberdeen getting back to winning ways in the league last weekend. Kelly, very good at home to St Johnstone last Saturday. Ross County, they've been terrific on the road in recent weeks, but also very good at home. They're at home to Dundee today. Dundee struggling so far this season, but it's all very tight down that end of the table. And 2 games covered on open all mics in the Championship. Ayr United against Livingston. Chick Young is there for us, and also Partick Thistle at home to Airdrie. Thistle beginning life without Chris Doolan. He was sacked during the week. We're on the telly today, BBC One, 4:30 until 5:20. We're on the radio through until around about 5:30 with the football. Then we'll switch to the rugby, the Six Nations game at Twickenham, England against Scotland. We'll switch to bring you second half commentary from that one. Obviously, there's the option of the full game, of course, on BBC Radio Scotland. But it's all about the football at the moment, John Collins. And my goodness, what a first half performance from Hibs.
Well, they come out of the traps flying, put Celtic under pressure. Exactly what they had to do. Go and test Celtic. They've come out from a tough midweek game, maybe a little bit leggy, and they got that early goal. Terrific footballing goal. Wasn't just a kick up the pitch, a lucky goal. Ball played on the deck, and a terrific finish from Josh Campbell. Slid it in the bottom corner. And then Celtic took control of the game as most people would expect. Dominated possession, getting lots of ball in the wide areas in the final third, but final pass letting them down. Need more from Adamidis from Celtic's point of view. I think he may be replaced and Jota may come on at half-time. But Hibs dug in defensively. Centre-halves are making good blocks, full-backs were getting tackles in. When they dug in, they held on, and sure enough, they get that second goal against the running play towards the end of the half. But from David Gray's point of view and Hibs fans, what a time to score a second goal.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been perfect timing. And again, it was a terrific goal from Hibs' point of view. Nicky Carden, who's been a brilliant signing. Every time he gets the ball, I feel like he's going to do something. And he is a key player for Hibs. He got the ball out in the wide area, kept it, shifted it onto his right foot, played a little pass to Boyle, and Boyle's delivered a terrific ball in. Josh Campbell again, and he's very good in there. He's not the tallest player, but his timing there is excellent. And he's went up there and beat the Celtic centre-halves. Went just outside the 6-yard box. From Celtic's point of view, will be bitterly disappointed from defensive point of view. But from Hibs, terrific. Big 45, can they hold on? Can they go and get a third goal? What's the mindset? Here's the danger now is half-time you're going to think, right, let's just hold it, keep it tight. And then Celtic get a goal. And you know what Celtic get when they get a goal, all of a sudden, bang. But can you go and get a third goal? Who knows? But so far, so good from Hibs' point of view.
Yeah, Pat, I asked you before the game how Hibs should approach this when you said, look, two things, they have to score first and they have to take the game to Celtic this afternoon, and they've done that and some, haven't they?
Well, certainly I thought they had to go out for it and have a little bit of a go at it. And John was the one who definitely said they have to score first. And you're right there, because it gives you something to fight on for, something to hold on to, a real kind of spirit between not just the players but also the fans as well. And that's exactly what happened. But there is we talked before the game about this maturity that you're seeing from Celtic over the last wee while in Europe. What maturity you've seen from those Hibs players today.
Yeah.
It's actually quite stunning. And I'd underline something else just now. John's right, I will be stunned if Jota doesn't come on this park at half-time. You need to go and get something done quickly, and he is the most obvious one to bring on that could make a difference. But I'm looking at it now and seeing these Hibs players, they just utterly believe in the system they've been asked to play. It's like it sits into a 5-3-2, but it's not ultra defensive because players will break from deep areas. But you need the quality as well, and the confidence has just grown and grown and grown as this, I was going to say this game has gone on, as this run has gone on. But big question for Celtic, really interesting, 2-0 down, miles ahead in the league. Do you destroy yourselves trying to get yourself back into this one? Answer is probably yes, because that's the Celtic way.
Yeah, that's the mentality, no doubt at all about that, Pat. I'm just watching the replay of that first goal from Josh Campbell, a great pass through, and very, very confident Josh Campbell on the ball. It was a neat finish past Schmeichel, and as John was saying, he's very good in the air for a guy that's not that tall. But also, Kieran Bowie looks a really good player for Hibs. He's a real threat, isn't he?
By the way, I'm really happy you mentioned him there, Rep. Right from the start, thinking, whoa, like that hold-up play. You know, you're against two strong players. Carter Vickers, we know his physical strengths. Trusty as well. But more than that, you know, there's a kind of gallousness we could say about his play as well. He's really comfortable on the ball. Yep. Big lad, but his technique's quite good. But the bit that's really got me, ball played over the top. John was describing it as a hopeful ball over the top. He's only done Trusty for pace. I said, wait a minute, if he's got that as well. I really was taken aback, because Trusty is no slouch, absolutely no slouch. But he managed to do it for pace. Now, it may well be that Trusty was surprised by that in the first time. But, you know, put that all together, and he's a player who's going to get better as he's getting older. He's got a lot to offer.
Yeah. He's definitely brought so much to this team. See, when you're up in your centre half or a fullback, you get the ball, you look up 50 yards, and you can clip it in the air. And you know that your centre forward is going to lean back, take it on his chest, and then the whole team, your midfielders, everybody can move up the pitch. That's happened on numerous occasions. And at the start of the season, that wasn't happening. Often it was going forward, it was coming straight back. So he brings another dimension to the team, holding up, but also, as we've just talked about there, his willingness to run and chase into the corners. He's shown a great application, great attitude. And for a manager, I mean, ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, remember, Lenny, Celtic fans just now, there's at least 3 players out there that have got the tracky bottoms off. So I think there could be 2 or 3 substitutions. Actually, there's 5 of them. So there is a real temptation that he's going to make at least a couple of changes now. Jota, obviously, being one of them. But also, Schlupp might be a temptation, because when he's just at the start of his career, but obviously I watched him a great deal before that, his willingness to get forward and push the play the other direction, and his timing of his underlapping runs is pretty special as well. So Celtic, don't be surprised at either right on half-time or very quickly after half-time making a few changes.
Yeah, John, you'd expect perhaps Ida to make way. It just looks a bit of a struggle for Ida right now, I think.
Well, he puts so much in the midweek that I'll be very surprised if he comes off. It very rarely comes off. He's one of those you're going at half-time.
Sorry, Adam Ida. Sorry, John, Adam Ida. Adam Ida, yeah.
Yeah, for me, he hasn't given enough in possession and out of possession.
Yeah.
Balls have been coming in the box. He's not been there. There's a couple of times I thought he should have played his teammates in who were in better positions than he never. I think the manager will be, and his teammates will be a little bit frustrated with him.
His timing of his runs has not been great either. That's the big thing. Centre forwards live and die by the fact that you need to time that run. If there's a gap behind that you're going to run in behind, you need to time the run. Now he'll say, wait a minute, it's about the timing of the ball as well, but you can't get caught offside that many times. I
just think he's got to offer more to his teammates. At a very average 45 minutes from him, I would imagine he'll be off.
Yeah, because Jota Park, he looked very good when he came on to the game at Celtic Park. You were there last Saturday. He's, I think, taking a wee bit of time to come up to match sharpness. We know the quality's there. You'd expect him to come very, very quick. As you say, he's warming up right now.
A number of things that really impressed me, Jota, in the Dundee United game particularly. He came and started and I thought, oh, you don't look as if you're going at 100%. You don't look fully fit. Oh, I'm not sure about you. And then realised after 10 minutes, actually, you're just being intelligent. You're slowly but surely building yourself into the game. And by the end, he came off with a few minutes to go just to get the applause because he was, by a distance, the best player in the park.
Yes.
And, he sees things. He slows things down sometimes, but that's just to allow time to give the runners a chance to run into the right areas, and he spots those runs. So it's going to be a big call in the second half if he does come in. Lewis Miller, I have to say, has had a very decent game against Maeda so far. Different question if you're going to be playing against Jota. Lots of different answers you have to give against him.
He's a player, Lewis Miller, I think it's fair to say, he's taken a fair bit of stick in his career at Hibs, John. We spoke before the game about key points under the reign of David Gray in times when, no doubt at all, he was under a fair bit of pressure, but the run he's been on has been fantastic. As you rightly said, John, I felt after these defeats he still spoke well. He spoke very accurately and positively where he could about the games, despite, sometimes quite sickening defeats with some of the goals that were given away due to in a lot of cases, individual errors. But the run up the table has been remarkable. And looking right now at the live table, they're fourth, 1 point behind Aberdeen. This has been a sensational run.
It's been a tremendous turnaround, and what he's had is fairly continuity in player selection. He hasn't been chopping and changing at the back. He's had he changed the goalkeeper and went to 3 central defenders at the back, and they've near enough played every single game. That's made a difference at the back. Boyles came back into a little bit of form. Again, when they were losing games, they were losing them just. There was no 5-0s, there was 2-1s, 3-2s. And I think that as a manager and as a group of players, you look at the defeats and you think, we could have won that, we could have won that, we could have won that. They never, in the outside world, paints a black picture. Hibs are nearly bottom of the league, it's a disaster, sack the manager, players are hopeless. But within the camp, I did say it, they were losing because players were getting sent off, but the beliefs turned around. The manager stuck with his principles and trying to be positive. Every time he spoke in the media, he was trying to be positive. He wasn't laying the blame at the players. He was taking responsibility, but always saying we're not far away, it's fine lines. And I liked the way he was talking. I'm so happy for him.
Do you know what, Kenny? I was on your show after the games a couple of times earlier in the season, and a lot of Hibs fans at that time were saying, hero, obviously David is,
yes,
but they were saying the time had come, and I wasn't for backing down because you could see behind it, look, actually it's all right. It's not dreadful, but you can see where the stupid points have been thrown away. There's easy things to change there that can make a difference to that. So, it surprised me quite a lot of Hibs fans. I was saying, no, actually, I'd stick with him. But it was hard. And I have to say, it's brave as well for the Hibs board, to stay with them when a lot of people were baying for it. But they're stuck with them, and rightly so, because those little changes adding a little bit of quality, stopping those red cards,
Yes.
and a little bit of belief on top, and that's all that is needed to go on this. Up until half-time now, one of the great runs in decades for Hibernian Football Club.
So, what does he do now? We're expecting Brendan Rodgers to make changes. What does David Gray do now, tactically?
Do you know what? First of all, I think you're going to have Jota on, so you have to consider that. You're going to understand that you're going to have a little bit of difference on the left-hand side. Sloop and Jota, for me, I thought they looked absolutely brilliant when they were playing against Dundee United. It didn't always come off. The movement was top quality, so don't be shocked if both of them come on or are on at some point very, very soon. So you need to make sure he says, as one player runs out, Jota.
Yeah, I think we may see a few changes here. So the teams are coming back out. Liam can fill you in on all of that. I remind you, open the mics from 3 o'clock today, but it's time now to return to Easter Road. Hibs against Celtic with John Collins, Pat Nevin and Liam McLeod.
Well, he's got to do something about it, Brendan Rodgers, and Jota is coming on for the second half. Sloop will be coming on for the second half. Hatate will be coming on for the second half. And it looks like Taylor, McCowan and Maida are the three who will be sacrificed. So that tells you all you need to know about what Brendan Rodgers thought of that first half performance by Celtic. He's changing such a high percentage of his side. They are 2-0 down to David Gray's impressive Hibs, who are looking to make it 13 games unbeaten. And just to try, in fact, Ida's coming off rather than Maida, so that's
I was shocked by that, actually.
It was the information I was getting was Maida, but it's Ida who's coming off, and that chimes with what we were talking about towards the end of the first half. So Ida off, Maida stays on, so he'll go through the middle. It's what we were talking about. And just to put this in context, Celtic had only this season, the Premiership, been behind 3 times. They were 1-0 down to Ross County in Dingwall. Of course, they turned that one round with late goals. Kuhn scored the winner. They won it 2-1. They were also, obviously, behind at Ibrox. They were beaten 3-0. And they were 3-2 down to Dundee until late on when Engels scored a penalty to salvage a draw on that 3-3 just a few weeks ago, as the Hibs players make their way back out there, and the Celtic players are back out too. And there are the changes down below us just being confirmed by the 4th official, Lloyd Wilson. And it will be Celtic who'll get the second half underway in their canary yellow shirts, green shorts, yellow socks with the green tops, Hibs in the green and white, as you would expect here at Easter Road, and as you would expect, unchanged.
You'd be shocked if they'd have changed for that. The number of upsides for Celtic, this looks like a very strong lineup. They've got just about as close as you can get to the strongest lineup, so they can believe that they can score 2 or 3 goals in this second half. Big thing for Celtic, they're going into their own fans this second half.
Yeah,
that really helps.
Well, if there's one team can come back from 2-0 down in this league, it is Celtic, as they kick off left to right, as Pat says, towards the south end. But it's a dreadful first touch by Hatate as it squirms under his foot and out for a Hibs throw-in on the far side. It's not exactly the impact Rio Hatate wanted to make with his first touch. Smith in goal for Hibs, O'Hara, Bushiri, Iredale, Miller, Triantis, Mariah Welsh and Cadden. That's Nicky Cadden. Josh Campbell, who's got both goals to double his season's tally in one half of football with Boyle and Bowie. The front line supported ably by Campbell, quite clearly. Celtic with Schmeichel in goal, Johnston, Carter Vickers, Trusty and Sloop, Engels, McGregor, Hatate, Kuhn, Maida, Jota. And Celtic trying to get up to the edge of the penalty area, but Triantis wins it back for Hibs. Trusty with a challenge on Boyle, but the ref didn't like it, and it's a Hibs free kick right of the centre circle.
That's harsh. That's very harsh on Trusty. I think Boyle's just leaning into him there a little bit, loses his legs. Trusty's fuming about it, and I can understand why.
It's a poor delivery though from the free kick, switched out to Nicky Cadden, who's furious as that sails out of play high into the main stand. Throw in to Celtic. Hibs shooting towards the famous 5 end in this second half, as they tend to do here at Easter Road. And that's slipped back by Carter Vickers to Schmeichel, who plays it short to Carter Vickers. Johnston up the line and back to Carter Vickers. And clearly Celtic will want to make an early impact in the second half, so these are an important 10-15 minutes for Hibs and their aspirations of seeing this through. Carter Vickers picks up on this near side, flicks it with the outside of his boot to his right for Johnston. looking for Engels. Iredale with the clearance, not great. Kuhn then to Engels, keeps it alive, flicks it to Johnston inside the box, pulls it back, it's just behind Maida. Lewis Miller, well, he almost changed his mind about going for that there, and Schlupp goes down inside the box. He gets away with it, does Miller. It was just a split second of hesitation there from the Aussie. He gets away with it. McGregor for Celtic, now Hatate. And Jota wants it. Hatate plays it back instead to Schlupp, who finds Carter Vickers. Schlupp was outstanding during the week. Arguably Celtic's best player, up against his old Crystal Palace teammate Elise. Here's Kuhn down the right of the Hibs box. He's inside it now. Side foot back to Schlupp at the edge of the area, and then to Hatate. Hibs trying to stay in their positions. Switch back out to the right for Johnston, and now with Kuhn. Kuhn on his left side, rolls it to McGregor, just outside the box. He shoots, looks to reverse it into the bottom right. He's off target though, and that's a goal kick to Hibs. As you hear the roar from the Celtic supporters as they try and begin this second half on the front foot. They trail Hibs by 2-0. We're on 48.
Yes, really good play from Celtic. No, you'd expect that. We started the second half. Manager's had a word with them, obviously. The fans behind them down there. They know that if they get an early goal, psychologically, what a difference that would make. Really good start from Celtic this second half.
Foul by Trusty, or on Trusty by Bowie. There's Johnston into the centre circle for McGregor, out to Engels to Kuhn. Kuhn on the right-hand side, taking on Cadden, right of the Hibs box. Here he goes, Kuhn towards the byline, pulls it across. Cut out well, though, by Iredale. And Hibs clear their lines, as they have done for most of the afternoon, in fairness. Johnston with the challenge on Bowie. The ref eventually blows. Hibs have a free kick on the halfway line, and a yellow card for the Canadian.
They've been hard to play against them too, haven't they? You've got to give Boyle his due as well. He's worked and he's chased. He's been very, very difficult to get a hold of. Yeah, sometimes he's got a foul, sometimes he hasn't got a foul, but he's never given up a single run. And when the ball's fallen to his partner in crime up there, Bowie, he's looked really strong.
They've combined really well. They've stayed good distance between them. There haven't been huge gaps.
You don't actually see that many dual partnerships up front, you know, a big one and a small one anymore. Do you know, and it doesn't often work these days, but hey, it's working with them too.
Oh, too right it is. First start for Bowie as well, and he's impressed. Jota keeps it in play, deep inside his own half though. He finds Schlupp. Hatate helps it on its way. The bounce favours Iredale, who nods it out to Nicky Cadden on this left-hand side. Midway inside Celtic territory here, little pirouette from Cadden. It's worked out, it's found Campbell, but he's lost out to Johnston. Now Engels finds Hatate, looks to clip it through towards Jota. What a ball that was, even get onto it, but Bushiri closes the door in the face of Jota. And they've kept it in as well over on the right-hand side through Lewis Miller. Outstanding defending from Bushiri. He's looked like a different player just the last few months. Here come Hibs down the right with Miller. Keeps it in place, slides in, but he's giving it to Engels, who comes forward and rolls it with the right foot low out to the left for Jota. Low ball across is cut out by O'Hara. Jota has it back at the edge of the box. He's gone for goal. He's off target, past the left-hand post, and it stays Hibs 2, Celtic 0.
Bit stressed out, weren't they? Hibs goes up the Lewis Miller goes up the right-hand side there, and he keeps the ball in. But only does so for Celtic. And these points in time, Celtic, Hibs, if they're going to try and keep this 2-goal lead, don't panic. There's a free kick they took quite earlier on there. And you think, why are they doing that? They don't need to do anything quick just now.
That's the key. Can they stay focused? Can they stay calm? Key moments. Slow it down when it's on to slow it down. When it's on to play forward quick. Decision making. Need to try and get a hold of the ball, Hibs, as well. Have a little rest with the ball.
That's a difficulty, I think, really, that Hibs have got just now, because of the way Celtic have. When Hatate's in there and he's alongside McGregor, then they do keep the ball very, very well. But, you know, they've always got those two up front. You can go long for it, but only when it's on.
See, there's a prime example. If they've got a throw and they've just thrown it straight back to Celtic. You've got to make Celtic work to get it back. Don't just throw it back to them.
Hibs with that 2-goal cushion. And it's Johnston on this near side. Rolls it back to Carter Vickers, who slips it forward into the Hibs half for Engels. Early ball looking for Maida, headed away by Iredale. And now Nicky Cadden takes over on this near side, comes off Engels' hand. Hibs can play on here. It's slipped up the line to Campbell, and he's managed to beat McGregor to it, and he's coming down the left looking for Bowie. His ball cut out by Carter Vickers and out for a throw-in. He's saying handball, Josh Campbell, but actually the advantage worked out for them, unless Stephen McLean didn't spot it and wasn't given the free kick. I thought he'd allowed an advantage there.
No,
I don't think he's seen it. I don't think he's seen it. I don't think he did.
Hibs, you want advantage. You've got the ball and you're going forward towards the Celtic back four.
Here come the Hibs. Triantis with the long ball into the box, headed away by Sloop, who gets it back from McGregor. And out to the left-hand side it goes to Jota, holding off Mariah Welsh. At least he thought he was. Mariah Welsh has kept it in play as well as he pinches it back. He moves in field.
Terrific play from Mariah Welsh, winning it and keeping it.
He's done well today in for the ineligible Quan. As Cadden picks up on this near side and rolls it back to Iredale. And then field to Bushiri. Back to Iredale on this near side. Forward towards Campbell. I think he's in an offside position here. Campbell gets onto it, swings it into the box, goes behind, and the offside flag was up as soon as the ball was over the line. Josh Campbell looking for a hat-trick this afternoon. The last Hibs player to score a hat-trick against Celtic,
Dixie Deans. No, before that.
Joey Harper. In the same final. I know what you meant. It was the same final. Yeah. It's the 1974 League Cup final. Celtic won 6-3. Deans and Harper both scored hat-tricks for their respective teams.
I'm going to tell something really worrying about that. I was there.
It's not that long ago. It's a free kick to Celtic, meantime, over on the far side. Arne Engels takes it. It's Jota onside. Bushiri might have been playing him on. It's Jota, pulls it back. It's behind Maida, and Hibs get away with it. Cadden clears. There is a flag, though. I haven't seen as many offside flags, belated offside flags in a game for potentially ever.
But there's a reason for it, because Hibs are trying to play a quite high line. You know, it's brave. It's a quite high line. They're not just sitting back miles beyond. But also Celtic, they're going to squeeze up as well, because that's what they do. So you've got two teams that are trying to play in this slightly squeezed area there. So when you break from there, you need to time it right. And very, very seldom in this game, maybe only once or twice, has the line been broken in time.
Yes, Celtic were the last team to beat Hibs, but 3-0 flattened them on the day. And Kukarevich will still be having nightmares about his misses in Glasgow this season, having failed from the penalty spot at Ibrox too. Two superb opportunities at Celtic Park as that header comes through for Boyle. He's goal side of Carter Vickers. Might be another offside coming here. Boyle's on it just now. Right hand side of the box. Three in green and white in the middle. He's got the ball in towards Nicky Cadden at the back post. Doesn't find him though. Kuhn's onto it. They're claiming he used an arm to control it inside his own box. There are the Hibs supporters as they scream for a penalty. And it's gone out meantime for a throw in.
Well, they're going to make it. The referee's asking him to stop just now. They must have a little look at it. No, but he's saying it's chest.
Point his chest. Yeah, it was the chest. No penalty. The VAR agrees. Alan Muir on VAR duty this afternoon. It's Stephen McLean in the middle of the action. Nicky Cadden with a throw-in level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box on the main stand side. Bowls it into Triantis. Back to Cadden. Back to Triantis. Brought to crash it to the ground by Hatate, and that's going to be a Hibs free kick. And Triantis is rolling around on the deck as if he's taking a sore one there. And it will be a free kick only by the looks of things. And Hatate's just going to make sure Triantis is okay. Hibs 2, Celtic 0 on 55 and a half.
I mean, it was terrific play from Triantis, good technical in a tight area. Shifted it well, but I think he's making a little bit of a meal of it.
I don't. If he's hit his head, it's undeliberate. Yeah. So but it was a foul before that. He was taken out. He goes down. But I think it might have been a little knee hits the head or something like that. But I think he'll be absolutely fine.
It looks as though he's okay. He's rubbing the back of his head just now.
Good position from Hibs. Cadden here, left peg.
Yeah, looking to bend it into a dangerous area, which he has done towards the back post. The header from Miller, saved by Schmeichel. It breaks to Bushiri, left-hand side of the box, back to Cadden, swings it deep to the back post again. Another Hibs player wins it. Miller looks for Boyle, away by Sloot, picked up by Bushiri at the edge of the box. His shot's blocked by Carter Vickers, and Celtic come away on the counter-attack. Kuhn, Hibs a bit stretched here, but it's brilliant recovery work by Kieran Bowie, who knocks it back to his goalkeeper. It stays Hibs 2, Celtic 0. Looked like Lewis Miller was making it 3.
Wow, I have no idea why the referee has stopped the game when Hibs are on the break. Celtic players down, but he didn't stop it when Celtic are on the break. It's not a head injury.
It's not on, no. It's
I have
Jeffrey
no idea
Schlupp
why
who's
you
down.
stopped that.
I mean, it happens too often in modern day football. Players down with nothing wrong with them.
Yeah,
The
but you're not-
referee blowing the whistle.
No, but you shouldn't be. If you're going to blow the whistle, you blow it earlier.
Unless it's a really serious injury, it's only a head knock that you stop the game for, isn't it?
But too many of them, they don't. They stop it all the time.
I have to underline, I think the referee's had a decent game today. He's had a good game, but I have no idea why he blows up there. He's got the right to do it. He's got the right to do it. It says he's in control of the game, but that surprised me. Just to go back to the chances
They're
there.
having a look, by the way, Pat, at the challenge, I presume, on Schlupp.
Yeah,
There's going to
interesting.
be a little delay here. Sorry, Pat.
Now, intriguing just beforehand there, another brilliant opportunity for Hibs at that back post, and it is that ball in between a rather high line that Celtic are playing there from the free kick. And as I say, Kasper Schmeichel, he doesn't come out of the 6-yard line very often, so there's a big old gap that you can go in and put that ball into.
Right, so red card check here. I'm not sure, because we don't have replays. I'm not sure exactly who this is for. I presume it's for a Hibs player for the challenge on Schlupp, because he was the player who was down. But we're not getting any clarity on it at the moment, and as I say, we don't have replays, we don't have monitors at the back of the main stand at Easter Road. And Hibs continuing with this 2-0 lead, approaching the hour mark here. We're on 58.5 minutes. First half double from Campbell. It's Bushiri, I think, is the player that they are eyeballing here. So potential big moment here. They've checked it though, and he's okay, so no red card.
Good news.
And good news for Hibs, certainly. Drop
To
ball.
say, do you know what? It's that shot that Bashiri tried to have, and it's a coming together. It's nothing more than that. And Bashiri actually tried to be quite calm about it. I mean, we know he's not a bad finisher. I'm surprised he even checked that, to be honest.
Foul there. Campbell, was there by Engels? No, says Stephen McLean, and it's a square ball by Johnston to Trusty inside the D of his own box, to the left for Schlupp, then out to Jota. Celtic still in a hole here, still 2-0 behind as they were at the interval. Trusty square to Carter Vickers, who rolls it out to Johnston on this near side. Johnston looking for Kuhn down the right flank. Nicky Cadden holds him off. Not the best ball in the world by Cadden to Iredale, but Iredale flicks it clear. And out for a Celtic throw-in on this near side. I tell you, this game's playing with an edge here right now.
It is, and understandably so. Celtic do not like getting beat, and Hibs have got something to fight for.
Boyle wins it back after Bowie nicked it off McGregor, but Stephen McLean saw the Bowie challenge as a foul. And the Hibs fans are irate at the last 5-minute performance of Mr. McLean in the middle of things. Just about to tick on to the hour mark. Here comes Celtic down the left with Jota. They've not really been able to get him in the game, but he's on it now. Left-footed cross comes in, headed away by Cadden to the edge of his own box. Callum McGregor goes after it. Nixon ahead of Mariah Welsh and finds Jota. Jota will take on Lewis Miller now. Left-hand side of the area, it's a chip ball in, too high for all his teammates, and it sails out to this near side. Johnston looks to keep it alive, flicks it with the outside of the right boot, infield to Kuhn. Engels ahead of him, Kuhn looks to switch it out to Jota. It's a telegraphed ball though, and Lewis Miller's onto it as he controls with the head and then the chest and plays it off Jota and out for a Hibs throw-in. Brilliantly defended by Lewis Miller. We had asked the question, we don't know if there's a little knock sustained by Chris Cadden last week against St Mirren in that draw, but we did wonder about the selection of Lewis Miller ahead of Chris Cadden, because Miller's had difficult moments this season, but he's been excellent, and he could have made it 3-0 just 5 minutes ago or so.
He's been really steady, did his defensive duties, and there at the back post, that chance. He's a big lad, you'd expect him to get in there at the back post more often.
Celtic with Jota on the far side. Schlupp forward, but his pass is behind Hatate. Hibs get it away. Trusty goes after it and sees it out for a throw-in.
Look at the sharpness of Martin Boyle. Every time Hibs defenders clear it forward, he's just running about up there, putting central defenders under pressure. Nothing better. You've got somebody at the top of the pitch with legs like that.
He's heading for 32, but there's no sign of the pace deteriorating at all. Normally when you get post 30, it's when you start to notice it. But Boyle, he's still like a whippet.
Fabulous thing about him is it's not as if he keeps it and just does it now and again. he's put a shift into it. I'm trying to see who it is over there. The fact it is the player who's down, I'm guessing it's Bowie, was holding his back when he went down. And remember, he had an injury 10-15 minutes before half-time where he was holding his back as well. That might be a problem for him, but he's going to get everything he's got until there's nothing left. And of course, there is some quality on the bench that they can bring on.
Well, Joe Newell's going to be coming on shortly, and I think, in fact, it's not Newell, it's Kukarevich who's going to come on. There was a change there because of the injury sustained by Bowie. But I would expect Newell to be on pretty soon after that.
Yeah, you've Bowie, I mean, the shift he's put in and how well he's done, and the fact that it's his only first ever start, yeah, it makes sense if you give him a bit of a rest now.
Hibs 2 to the good here, 62.5 on the clock. Celtic have it with Jota. Jota has then somebody come back towards his own half there as he plays it short to Trusty, forward to McGregor. Side football out to Sloop on the left flank, finds the Jota. Looks to get it back to Sloop. Miller slides in, he comes off Sloop, did it? No. On the ref, but the Hibs fans over there, particularly those right behind it in the stand, felt that came off the Celtic man last. The change will be made before the throw-in, and Nikola Kukarevich will replace Keenan Bowie, who's getting a standing ovation from the Hibs supporters.
Richly deserved. It's been a real shift in for his teammates. Held the ball up well when it's been timed up to him, made runs in behind, had shots on target. He'll be considering it's his first start. What a performance. Well done, young man.
Do you know what? You've got a club in. He's not a new player, absolutely new player, but it almost feels like a new player. Like, hey, wait a minute, you can start him every week. What a difference that's made. And it also gives you so many different options as well.
It's an absolute monster, isn't he, Kieran Bowie? Arrived here after 4 years on the books at Fulham. He's a Fifer from Kirkcaldy, and he put in a superb display and has more than played his part in the scoreline, which continues to read Hibernian 2, Celtic 0. Celtic have the throw-in, they're up the pitch here about level with the 6-yard line. Sloop short to Jota, rolls it back, low ball to Trusty, who then squares it into the centre circle for Carter Vickers. Celtic, they haven't gone into their stride since the break. Jordan Smith's not had much to do. Here's Kuhn, rolls it to Johnston, looking to get to the byline, and the 2-goal hero Campbell puts it behind for the corner.
They love that underlap, don't they, Celtic? The problem is the difficulty to do that against a back five, because you've got a third centre back who can actually walk into that area, which you play against a back four, it's a much easier trick to actually pull off.
Celtic corner, Engels over it, outswinger with the right boot, main stand side as they attack the goal to the right. They need the next goal, and it's Engels flighting it in, almost broke to Hatate, but it's Kukarevich, he's onto it for Hibs, and now they're coming away in the counter, and Mariah Welch has made a run ahead of him. Long ball from Kukarevich, killed in the chest though by Sloop, who turns it back to Kasper Schmeichel. Josh Campbell's double at either end of the first half has Hibs 2-0 up against the league leaders and champions. And it's Hatate over on the far side. It's Hibs to lose at this point, and it's a huge week for them as well. They go to Dundee United during the week, and that's a third place battle if ever there was one. Aberdeen obviously in their hearts might consider themselves still in that race, as will the likes of Motherwell and St Mirren. And then it's the derby back here next Sunday. That's not going to be for the faint-hearted, I wouldn't have thought. Hearts looking for revenge, having lost out at Tynecastle to Hibs during the festive season. Here comes Jota, good run by him. Low ball to Kuhn, the right angle of the box. Kuhn on his left side, finds Engels, then back to Kuhn inside the D. Hatate shuffles onto his right, looks to get it through towards Maida. It's cut out by Bushiri, breaks the Sloop, whose efforts blocked heroically by Hibs again. Throwing bodies on the line, and it's Bushiri this time. Sloop's low ball back across. Jota with the touch, off Bushiri and behind for the corner. The Hibs players celebrating like they've scored up the other end there.
Hibs players it's just one of those days. They're getting blocks in left, right and centre. Celtic trying everything, but they cannot get that clear-cut chance.
Heading towards the final quarter of the game. Another Celtic corner. Engels to take as they look to try and reduce the deficit. Right-footed in-swinger from Engels this time from the Celtic left. And it comes, but it's too close to Smith. Could have caught it, he decided to punch it. And then it bounces off Nicky Cadden and behind for another Celtic corner. Did Jordan Smith be wishing he caught that?
For me, he's going to catch it all day long.
I think so. It is a wee bit windy. You look at the flags down there, it's a bit windy and it's coming in towards him. Goalkeepers will say There was not a goal lost, so I did the right
No, there
thing.
was not. Short corner, Hatate, McGregor, now Kuhn in the central areas, ball forwards cut out, Callum McGregor ushers it out wide left of the box there for Jota. Gets his cross in, Johnston misses it, so does Carter Vickers, headed away by Miller. Now it is Sloop. It's a good spell this by Celtic, good spell of pressure at least. Sloop works it back out low out to Jota. Taking on Triantis. Chip ball back across, too high for both Engels and Trusty this time, and Hibs boot clear once more. Sloop gets it from Callum McGregor. And Hibs fans desperate for their team to push out here. McGregor's ball takes a touch off Triantis out for a Celtic throw in. Jota to McGregor, back to Jota, square ball infield to Hatate, back out to Jota again, and then back to Trusty. Pat,
Would you not be tempted to bring on Johnny Kenny now? You're putting balls in the box constantly now. You need somebody to go on the end of them. A little bit of height in there.
here's Jota, wide left of the Hibs box. Good build up by Celtic. There's Jota to the edge of the area. Hatate scuffs at it, but Maida attacks it, and Maida's poked it home through the legs of Smith. He was the one player alive to the situation. Hatate didn't catch it properly, and everyone else just about stopped. That apart from Daisen Maida, who takes his season tally to 24, and with a quarter of this game left, it's Hibs 2, Celtic 1.
It's typical Celtic. They just keep attacking, keep putting balls in the box. There they got a little ricochet, a little break, which they haven't had the whole match. And who's there? Maeda, always on his toes, sharp as attack.
I absolutely hate to say it, but the goalkeeper's got to do better. He's got to fall on it. He's absolutely got to fall on the ball there. It goes with his feet there. He's tentative about it. It's not the time to do that. It's get your body in there and get down and get your hands on it. He didn't do that. And well done, as you say, Maeda. Chased it in. A little bit of luck there, but you work for those bits of luck.
On the big screens there's an image as Boyle tries to get on the end of the cross from the right, but it goes away, skewed out to the other side of the box.
Right,
Michael's onto it. Sorry, Pat, let me just clear this. Sorry, John. There is an image of Ron Gordon on the big screens. It's the first anniversary of his death. Second anniversary of his death. He was such an important figure at this club. He was the owner. The Gordon family still ensconced at Easter Road. The Hibs fans just paying tribute there. It's unfortunate timing for the tribute because Celtic just scored before it. But the Hibs fans saluting Ron Gordon, who passed away 2 years ago. Hibs 2, Celtic 1 then here at Easter Road. And Celtic very much back in the mix. As Kuhn finds Engels, right-hand side, low ball across, cleared by Bushiri. He's going to come back to Engels. Hello to listeners who've been listening to Off the Ball on FM. Celtic pressing for an equaliser here. The cross from Johnston evades everyone and comes out to Sloop on the other side. Suddenly Hibs can't get a hold of the ball. They led 2-0. It's now back to 2-1. Maida just scored a couple of minutes ago to bring Celtic off the canvas. McGregor rolls it to the left angle for Sloop. He's got Jota in support. Sloop's low ball. It's now Maida, left-hand side of the box. Back out to Jota, outside of the boot cross. Overhead clearance there, hooked over his head by Campbell, the 2-goal Hibs hero. Kukarevich goes down. He's done well there. He held off his man. He's managed to get it worked out to the left-hand side where Nicky Cadden blasts it off Kuhn and out for a throw into Hibs on this near side. Not really been able to take a breath in the last few minutes. Guys, help me out. How do you see this now with 20 to play in the 90?
Well, number one, you can see a number of Hibs players getting very, very tired right now. They've almost knocked out their half for about 15 minutes or so. Celtic have kept the pace up phenomenally well, and they need someone to hold it up. Okay, they've got Kukarevich on now. He's got a massive job to do if Hibs are going to survive this, because Celtic believe they can do it now.
It's Josh Campbell for Hibs. Finds Triantis. Flips it out, switching it to the right-hand side for Lewis Miller, taking his time over this. He controls, he crosses, but it's way too close to Schmeichel, who then bowls it quickly to Kuhn, who will drive forward down this right-hand side. The Celtic fans believe they're taking something from this game. Probably believe they can still take all 3 points from this game. Iredale, good defending against Engels on the near side. Cadden keeps it in play, and he's done well to make sure that McGregor didn't get onto the scraps. Long ball high forward there. Trusty wins it back off Kukarevich, but there's an offside flag. Celtic take the free kick quickly. Hatate in the centre circle. Rolls it to his left for Sloop, who finds McGregor. McGregor's got Jota out on that far side touchline. Jota's on it. Miller stands his ground so well. He's had such a good afternoon. He's won the free kick as well. just when Hibs needed it, just a little bit of a breather. 71.5 on the clock. Hibs 2, Celtic 1.
Hibs have to try and get a hold of the ball. There's Mariah Welsh, she's struggling as well. Looks like his calves.
Obita's about to come on for him, John.
Yeah, no surprise.
Yeah, but there's so many Hibs players are feeling that just now. And the way Celtic are playing at the moment, they're playing as if there's 2 minutes left. There's not 2 minutes left. They're playing at such a pace. It's going to be very, very hard for Hibs to hold out. But it's what's made it a brilliant game so far. It's made it so intense.
How will this alter the shape of Hibs, John? The change with the Obita coming on?
Interesting. He's a defensive player. Will he go into centre? I don't think he'll go into midfield.
I think Cadden's being pushed up a bit by the looks of it, maybe. In there chatting to Josh Campbell. Not sure how they're going to deal with this. Obviously, Obita is a left back / left wing back. He's not getting as many starts now because of the impressive run of Nicky Cadden. As he comes on for Mariah Welsh, she took a dull one there, so change for Hibs there. 72.5 play, 2-1 Hibs lead. Their lead has been halved.
Obita's going in the central midfield.
There you go, solves that. And there's a free kick Jordan Smith to take. Perhaps didn't look too clever at the Celtic goal that has taken them back to within 1. Long ball out on the far side. Mikola Kukarevic is on Easton well to hold it up and knock it infield to Campbell. His ball forward cut out by Sloop. Now to McGregor. The Hibs fans wanted a free kick for handball at the edge of the Celtic box there. And it's Hibs who have it. Now Bushiri. Big test of Hibs' character here, and they've come through most tests recently, but that's a poor ball out of defence by Iredale. And now it's Johnston. He's got it down the right hand side of the box for Kuhn. Wasn't a great first touch, and Iredale slides in and redeems himself and clears out for a Celtic throw-in on the near side.
Tremendous recovery tackle from Iredale. Gave the ball away, but instantly good reaction.
So he gave that ball away though, and it's one of those ones he dived into the tackle, and had he not got that ball perfect, it was a penalty.
Yep, time had to be perfect. It was, thankfully for Hibs.
Trusty for Hatate, out to Jota on the left hand side, level with the edge of the D, the Hibs box, back to Hatate, now to McGregor driving forward in the Hibs penalty area, pulls it across, blocked by Bushiri. He's done that a few times this afternoon. Miller, wasn't a great touch, but he's fortunate Campbell's there to ensure it didn't come Jota's way. As Trusty goes all the way back to Schmeichel.
Bushiri's going to be coming off soon as well. I think he's another player who's really struggling there, I think, with cramp.
Jota has it on the left for Celtic with a little over 15 to play, but flag's gone up on this near side against Jota. Free kick Hibernian.
It's going to be a long 15 minutes for Hibs.
Plus.
Can I try? We should say this just now, actually. We're talking about the amount of offsides and the fact that, you've run offside again. Hey, defensive coaches, you work really hard on these offsides and making sure that you come out at the same time. And just on that occasion there, the entire Hibs back line came up in a line with the hands up saying, yeah, he's offside. And it made the assistant referee pull his flag up. It was actually really well done there.
It's such a risk and reward tactic,
exactly.
Isn't it? And it's, well, as things stand, it is reward for Hibs right now.
What you often find towards the end of the games, one of the defenders gets tired or switches off, and all of a sudden offside line's broken.
Boyle giving Carter Vickers a hard time, and he's put the pressure on enough for Carter Vickers' clearance to go straight to Lewis Miller, right hand side of the box, plays it off Sloop and out for a Hibs throw-in level with the Celtic 18-yard line. It's just one win in 24 for Hibs against Celtic, and in fairness to Celtic, that was a kind of meaningless game at the end of the season a couple of years ago. They lost 4-2 here. So this kind of result, if indeed it is a result by full time, has not come along very often. In comes the long throw-in. McGregor didn't know what it was, neither did Carter Vickers. Hibs player goes down. Stephen McLean has not given the penalty though. Well, that looked like there may well be a spot kick coming their way. Kukarevic went down. Celtic come up the other end. Jota's in the box. He's at the byline. He can pick and choose. He shoots. Blocked by Bushiri on the line. Sensational. An incredible passage of play from one end to the other. Jota set to make it 2 apiece, but Rocky Bushiri, who's injured, he's coming off any second now, has blocked it on the line after Jordan Smith was beaten. Jota's ready to celebrate the equaliser, but it stays. Hibs 2, Celtic 1 in Leith.
What an incredible piece of play there. Absolutely extraordinary. Just thought that Hibs were going to tap it in. We can't see from here if it was a penalty or not, whether it was a push or not. I'm sure they'll have a look at it.
No penalty, Pat. No penalty.
But there's no way through the bodies we can see that from here. Not a chance. The Hibs fans thought it was, but then they would too. But what about Bashiri on the line? That was such a brilliant.
What about Jota? What a piece of play from Jota. He's ran from the halfway line. Superb. Bashiri getting a standing ovation for that.
Ah, too right. I mean, Josh Campbell's got the 2 goals. If Hibs go on to win this game 2-1, Campbell will get a lot of headlines. But Rocky Bashiri, that's essentially a goal. I mean, that's wonderful defending from the Belgian as he makes his way off. Of course, Congolese international, born in Belgium. He's had his difficult moments in a Hibs jersey. And who'd have thought 3 months ago, if he'd said Rocky Bashiri would be getting standing ovations at Easter Road in a few months' time?
Utterly deserved ones at that.
Yeah.
Thing is, he's gone off. He's been absolutely brilliant. He's just saved Hibs there, but he's off.
Yeah, it's Nick Pateta who's come on for him.
They'll miss him. They'll definitely miss him.
Nick Pateta's been out injured and was part of a Hibs defence that was leaking loads of goals. It was a back four back in those days, beside O'Hara. And those two have got Iredale for company. Engels with the corner, outswinger with the right boot. Jota misses it. Hatate, left-hand side of the box, to pass it back the way to Schlupp. He's got it through towards Carter Vickers. It spins and Campbell gets onto it. Campbell trying to hold off Engels. Out of play it goes, and then Engels pushes Campbell when they were both off the pitch there as he tries to get the ball back. And suddenly the two players going head to head down there. The fans are all on their feet. What a game this has been. And Hibs are 11.5 minutes plus stoppages away from a rare victory over the champions, who have a throw-in level with the Hibs 18-yard line on this near side. Johnston takes it and bowls it back to Carter Vickers. Just inside the Hibs half, squares it into the centre circle for Trusty, who finds McGregor. Little ball to his left for Schlupp. It is 2-1 Hibs. It is on a knife edge though. Make no mistake about that. Johnston forward to Kuhn. Might have been in an offside position there, but Kuhn's on it here. Right-hand side of the Hibs box. Rolls it back the way to Trusty in the central position. Short to his left for Schlupp, then to Hatate. Hatate sizes up the Hibs box and elects to play it short to his left for Jota. Hatate looking to get back onto it. Miller for company. Miller sticking to Hatate. He's just outside the box. Rolls it back to Jota. Jota, no misunderstanding with Schlupp. McGregor almost got onto it. Miller clears and dumps it out for a Celtic throw-in level with the Hibs 6-yard line over on that left-hand side. This is hard work for the hosts right now.
It's constant pressure. Celtic trying to move it as quick as possible. Hibs just trying to keep their shape. Concentration levels key. Last 10 minutes, if you're getting tired, you've got to keep talking, encouraging each other.
Kuhn forward to Engels, and then to Kuhn. If you want any team news from the other 4 matches taking place in the Premiership, go to the live text at the BBC Sports Scotland website for all of that. Confirmation of it once we're done here. Jota, left-hand side of the Hibs box, gets the cross-in, too high for Engels, away by Cadden. McGregor keeps it alive and finds Kuhn. Celtic rapping on the door here. Johnston pulls it across. Smith with a block. Engels with the effort and another block. Sees it cleared out to this near side. I think it's Lewis Miller who's put himself in the line this time. And it's a Celtic throw-in, and they're not able to take it quickly enough for their liking, because Miller has taken a sore one, presumably from blocking that previous shot from, I think it was Engels. But in the final 10 and 90, Hibs 2, Celtic 1.
Doesn't look to me, a number of Hibs players have gone down with like cramp, and the Celtic fans are fuming. They've tended to get substituted afterwards. They are exhausted, every single one. They've had to put such an incredible amount of energy into this, not just mental, not just physical, but mental as well. So just looking at this line here, I'm not a betting champ myself, but I bet you the bookies are still saying 2-2 is the most likely finish here, because Celtic are being battering at the door.
Just relentless. Celtic. Jota, every opportunity they're feeding Jota out there. He's delivering into the box is always quality. Hibs trying to break the momentum.
There's been some wonderful results in this run that Hibs have had. The Edinburgh Derby at Tynecastle sticks out like a sore thumb, of course. The that battle with Rangers here at the start of last month. They win at Pittodrie, beat Aberdeen here as well. They are unbeaten in 12, one defeat in 15. If they go unbeaten in 13, it will be the first time across all competitions as a top flight club since 1978. You remember, 1 win in 11 before this current run. And they are getting closer and closer and closer to a victory against Celtic here. Game on again, 82 on the clock. Hibs 2, Celtic 1. Hatate back to the edge of the centre circle for Trusty, who squares it to Carter Vickers. Out to Johnston on the right-hand side. Faced by Cadden, goes back to Carter Vickers. Shuffles it to Trusty again. Trusty to Sloop, still the Hibs players chasing them down. It's been a tireless performance from them.
Celtic have to get the ball out to Jota there. Miller's struggling. He's been marking one of the best players around in Scottish football. They've not got the ball out to him.
Here's Engels. He's looking for Johnston. Has he kept it in? He's pulled it back, and Midas put it home. Midas put it into the net, but was the ball over the line?
It looked like it was over the line.
Midas smashes it home, and Celtic have drawn level here with 7 minutes to go. But it'll be interesting to see if Johnston kept that in before he fired it across. Maida gets his second, and as it stands, it's Hibernian 2, Celtic 2, and the champions have come from 2 behind.
Well, he didn't cover himself in glory with the cut in there, the keeper either. Look, it was a zip ball in there. They will have a look at it. It's very, very close. I mean, part of the ball will have been over the line. It's whether the entire ball was over the line, and we're going to find out very, very soon.
This is an easy one for VAR.
It's been given. The goal's been given by the looks of it. Stephen McLean's just pointed at the centre spot. The Celtic fans celebrate, but he's obviously been intimating something else, because that was not to confirm the goal. They are still checking it.
Maybe checking other parts of it, not just the ball out of play, but it's once again, it's tight, it's inches.
What a moment this is. I mean, this game has had so much to talk about. You'll do well to pick the bones out of this afterwards, but the confirmation will be coming very soon. The ball's out of play. This isn't going to count. This goal's not going to count. It's going to be a goal kick to Hibs. This goal will not stand. It's still Hibs 2, Celtic 1 here, and the decision will be a goal kick to Hibs, and the roar comes from the home fans because they are still in front. Hibs 2, Celtic 1, no goal, ball out of play.
This game's got everything, hasn't it?
Instantly, I thought it was out of play.
That was my reaction. Yes.
Yeah. We can get that wrong from here, from a distance. It wasn't too far out of play, but you did say right away during the commentary that that's out.
But the linesman was in actually a good position. I'm surprised he never.
To be fair, I actually think he went to raise his flag and put it back down again. But you know, hey, that's why the good Lord invented VAR.
Yeah, well, those cut and dried things when the VAR looks at it, it's absolutely the right thing to have, as Nicky Cadden picks up down the left for Hibs. Still 2-1 up they are. Deep cross from Cadden. Campbell heads it back, looking for Miller, but Jota nicks it off him. Jota now driving forward, Miller desperately trying to stick with him. Jota releases the ball, switching it out to Kuhn on this near side. Kuhn controls, low ball forward, Maida goes after it, his goal chopped off, his little back heel to Engels is cut out by Obita, and it is cleared. Incidentally, the change that Hibs made earlier on, Junior Hoylett coming onto the pitch that was just finished all kicking off. The Canadian down below us is on the park. It remains 2-1 here to Hibs. As they look to try and see this out now, and the seconds are ticking away. Hoylett, of course, came on with Martin Boyle coming off another who ran himself into the ground. It's with Iredale here. Oh, he almost showed too much of it to Maida. He managed to release it to Ekpiteta. Long ball from the Hibs substitute. It's pretty aimless. He's got rid of it. 4 minutes to play of the 90. Hibs 2, Celtic 1. I mean, you can't. We can't take. You're listening, so you don't have your eyes on it, presumably. But we can't take our eyes off this. You probably can't stop listening to it, because this game has had drama after drama after drama. You just can't stop watching it.
And there's going to be more chances, I'll guarantee that, before the final whistle.
And there's going to be more than, well, there's going to be quite a lot of time added on at the end. There's been a few injuries, quite a few Hibs players down as well, and that VAR check.
Here comes Celtic. Triantis brought Engels down off the ball. Kuhn continues his run. Nicky Cadden with his slide challenge wins it back for Hibs though.
Nicky Cadden has been outstanding, not only in possession of the ball, out of possession. His defensive work has been superb.
Long ball, Hatate gives chase, but it comes all the way through to Smith, who holds on.
He's got to go to ground there, the keeper. Grab the ball and just fall on the ground.
They usually do.
Yeah, a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds extra to give his team a little bit of respite and also a chance to push up a little bit.
As it stands, Hibs will leapfrog Dundee United and go to within a point of Aberdeen. Those two in action, 3 o'clock, open all mics. Aberdeen, Kilmarnock, Dundee United, Motherwell. There's Rangers, St Mirren and Ross County, Dundee as well. St Johnstone, Hearts tomorrow. There will be a split for the rugby at 3 o'clock on medium wave, on digital, on extra. England, Scotland in the Six Nations. Scots look to win a 5th Calcutta Cup on the bounce. Celtic chasing with Jota. The flag's up, as you heard from John in the background, and we are just about on 88 minutes here. Hibs are so close to the victory they can just about touch it now.
I can know what some of the Hibs fans are saying. With 2 minutes to go, 2-1 up, make a draw of this.
There'll be plenty who will be thinking that.
Yeah, exactly.
Thinking, no, we can't lose it now. But the stoppage time, and there's 2 of the 90 left, is going to be 8 minutes.
That's what I thought.
That's a long time for those Hibs players.
So there's 10 left of this. As it stands, minimum of 8 minutes being added on at the end.
I think David Gray's looking at the guy saying, 8 minutes? You kidding me on?
Par for the course, that. Sloop with the long ball, the header away by Ekpiteta, and he's found Triantis. Lofted ball forward by O'Hara. Carter Vickers with the header underneath it. Johnston, he heads forward though, it's cut out there by Obita. And now it's with Hoylett. Lovely touch by Junior Hoylett. He's got that in his locker as the veteran comes down the left, taking on Carter Vickers. He's managed to get the beating of Carter Vickers. He's at the byline. Hoylett across. Schmeichel just about spilled it, and Campbell, who's on a hat-trick, was trying to snap it up.
Terrific play from Hoylett. Beat Carter Vickers, out-muscled him.
Doesn't often happen.
Can't say that's a collector's item.
Up against his Canada international teammate Alistair Johnston as well down here on this near side. Hoylett. Here comes Engels though for Celtic. Clip ball forward. Johnston's going to give chase. It skips through to Iredale though. Gets his clearance away out to the near side. Hatate with a nice little touch. Then Kuhn. One back by Obita. Wilson's coming on Obita in that midfield position. Pukarevich surely was fouled. He was, but the ref's allowing an advantage here. Hibs at this stage might prefer the free kick. The Hoylett finds Cadden. Cadden back to Obita. Smashes forward towards Campbell. Might well have been offside anyway, but it's gone out for a Celtic throw-in. Yeah, flag's gone up. Free kick will be given.
By the way, Cadden, just there, when he got the ball, and everyone else would have just lashed it. No, he didn't. He kept it. He held it. He got his teammate in the play and gives Hibs another chance to break.
Alistair Johnston through looking for Maida. Cut out though by Iredale, who clears. Nicky Cadden there, heroic performance again. There's the 8 minutes confirmed. You can imagine how well that's gone down amongst the Hibs fans. Here comes Celtic, Kuhn giving chase. Iredale gets there first and slides it out for a Celtic throw-in. Level with the 18-yard line of the home team. Johnston over it. Hibs 2, Celtic 1 in stoppage time. Those two Josh Campbells at either end of the first half, the difference right now. Maida pulled one back, but here's Kuhn at the edge of the box, way off target, well past the left-hand post, and it stays Hibs 2, Celtic 1. Hibs will be in no hurry to take this, though Maida is, and he's just spotted up the goal kick. But Smith will want to take that from a different position, of course. The Celtic fans in behind them. Celtic right now staring at just a second domestic defeat of the season, and just a third in 14 months.
Brilliant noise around this place, isn't it? And it's not one set or the other. Celtic fans are getting behind their team. The Hibs fans are not exactly celebrating at this point in time, but they're trying to
biting their nails.
Oh, they're trying to give their team that little bit of extra energy they need. And boy, do they need it just now.
Celtic have had a lot of the ball. Jordan Smith's not had that too many saves to make today. David Gray will feel his team deserves this if they can hold out. Well, Sloop's just been dramatically wiped out over on the left of the centre circle by Josh Campbell, who's going to be yellow carded. There'll be a free kick to Celtic. We played 1.5 of the 8 minutes that were added on at the end by Stephen McLean.
He's fuming there, Campbell, because he's absolutely convinced Hoylett is fouled anyway in the first place, and that's all that was, retribution for the referee not giving what he was a free kick. He thought it was a free kick.
Kuhn for Celtic finds Johnston level with the Hibs penalty spot, back out to the right touchline for Kuhn, who then moves into a more central position. Now Sloop short to Trusty. Jota's an option on the left. Now it's at the feet of Jota. Works it to the underlapping Sloop, still outside the box here though, being forced wide by Hoylett. And then back to Trusty. Celtic would take a point now. They'd happily take a point now from this position. Here's Kuhn on the right hand side facing Cadden, and he skips infield. Nicolas Kuhn, no Hibs challenge yet though. Triantis came to meet him, he passes it to McGregor. Now Arne Engels. Engels tries to swing the ball in, blocked by Obita. Now Carter Vickers. Celtic come again. Carter Vickers rolls it out to Engels, wide on the right hand side. Low ball, Hatate just outside the box, right hand side of the D. Short to Engels on the right flank, back to Hatate. Hatate gets the cross in, it's way too close to Smith, who claims with both hands. They've negotiated 3 of the 8 minutes of stoppages of Hibernian. They still lead Celtic by 2-1 here in the Leaf sunshine.
Options weren't good for the Celtic the last couple of times. Couldn't shoot, and when I don't think the shot was on there, Hatate really a little bit panicked there putting the ball in. He's got time to get his head up and find a good pass from that end.
He's got to cut it back, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's an offside there against Celtic. Free kick will go Hibs' way. This incredible spectacle that we've been watching here in the capital. 4 shots on target each, and the team Celtic have had more than 75% of the ball.
Yep, that's a disappointing thing from Celtic's point of view. They haven't hit the target, haven't worked the goalkeeper enough with all the possession in and around Hibs area. But Hibs have defended superbly well. Every single one of them to a man. Put a shift in.
A long ball down the right hand side, Lewis Miller giving chase. He's managed to win it back off Sloop, pulls it back, and Trusty puts it behind for a Hibernian corner. And this is exactly where they want to be in the 5th minute of stoppage time out of 8 at the end of this game at Easter Road. Hibs 2, Celtic 1. I'm just showing John and Pat a still of Alistair Johnston failing to keep the ball in play. It does look like the whole of the ball's out there.
By the way, you've got extra vision if you can see that from here. That's a long way away and a very little way out.
Someone might have sent that to me, Pat. Hibs corner over on the far side. They're getting ever closer. I mean, out of all the results they've had over the course of the last few months, out of the last 12 unbeaten, 1 defeat in 15, and even that was harsh on them at Celtic Park. This one might even, if it's not better than it, it will be right up there with the Derby win down the Gorgie Road. Here is Carter Vickers, 3 minutes of stoppages left. That's all Celtic have got. They're 2-1 down. Trusty short across the halfway line for Sloop. Hibs made nothing of the corner. They tried to play it short and waste the clock down. Celtic come with Jota, but there's a foul by Sloop over there, and that will be a free kick to Hibs. It was on Lewis Miller.
Does that come under the heading clever from the defender there? Just puts his body in the way and takes the hit from Sloop. Sloop is furious about it, but I'll tell you what, on down that right hand side there, Lewis Miller, he almost had a chance just a few minutes ago as well, getting up the pitch. I thought he was out on his feet. He's kept on going.
Well, there will be a free kick here, which Jordan Smith's in no hurry to take. 2 minutes of stoppages left. Smith hits it with a left foot. He's not been having to make save after save in these closing stages. A Celtic fight to try and take something back along the M8. Jota keeps it in play. There's a push by Hatate, was there? No, says the ref. Celtic come forward with Jota. He's lost out to Triantis. The energy levels from this Hibs team have been outstanding all afternoon. And Triantis is another tireless worker in the engine room. That goes out for a Celtic throw-in, but they're midway inside their own half here.
Liam, the assistant referee gave it the other way.
Yeah.
I was very confident about it, very close to it. The referee disagreed with him. It's his choice. If this leads to a goal, there will be fury.
It hasn't led to a goal because Schloop's just passed it straight back out of the pitch.
It's looking like Hibs are going to hang on.
Speaking too soon.
Yeah, well, they've got the ball in the Celtic half as we go into the 8th minute of 8 that have been added on at the end, but Celtic have won it back, and here is Johnston. Kuhn on the right. Celtic were hit late against Bayern Munich the other night in the Allianz. Can they themselves hit late here like they so often have? Long from Kuhn, looking for Maida. Hibs clear. Engels is on to it though. Engels tries to cross, blocked by the ever-impressive Triantis, and walloped clear by Jordan Obita. Anywhere will do. Seeing a lot of what Obita's done there at Twickenham later on this afternoon.
You took the words out of my mouth.
There's Josh Campbell. I mentioned he'd get the headlines for his 2 goals, but Rocky Bushiri cleared one off the line. I mentioned Triantis, we mentioned Nicky Cadden, we've mentioned Lewis Miller. They've been heroes to a man, those Hibs players. Goes out for a throw-in on the far side, 2 Hibs. I mean, the Hibs fans know this game's won now.
Looks like it's in the bag. 3 points.
And what a 3 points it's going to be. Throw-in on the far side. Lewis Miller's not in a hurry to take it. I make it. We've played the 8 minutes. And Stephen McLean's full-time whistle in front of 18,500 people here will be met with massive cheers from the home fans because they've slayed the champions in the Port Elite this afternoon. An incredible performance. An incredible Hibernian performance. And the Hibs supporters celebrate all around us. A statement victory against the runaway league leaders and champions who huffed and puffed in that second half but could not find the equaliser. And those 2 goals from Josh Campbell at either end of the first half have been enough to win the day for David Gray. And one of the biggest Hibs legends of all has turned the ship around spectacularly before today. We knew that. But this win is something else for them. Maida's goal made no difference. Celtic still had plenty time after that. Jota had one cleared off the line by Bushiri. And Maida had the ball in the net, though, was ruled out because Johnston couldn't quite keep it in play at the byline. Despite Maida looking like he'd drawn Celtic level, it wasn't enough, and it's just a 2nd league defeat of the season for the champions, and just a 3rd domestic defeat in 14 months for them as the Celtic players make their way towards the tunnel. But this is about Hibernian, and they've just gone unbeaten in 13 matches in all competition as a top 5 club for the first time since 1978. That tells you where they are right now. It tells you the job David Gray's done here. Because I keep going back to his post-match interview when they lost to St Mirren here in November. It looked at that point, despite his belief that he could turn it around, that he was going to be on his way out. But he has turned it round and some. And this is a victory that takes them above Dundee United for now and to within a point of Aberdeen in 3rd. After that St Mirren game, they were bottom of the table. It finished here in Edinburgh, in the sunshine. Hibernian 2, Celtic 1.